Welcome back to Race Hub, where the sun is shining out in Daytona Beach, Florida. We're getting set for a big ARCA race coming up momentarily, and we have a full slate of racing action for you today. Here's a look at the schedule. As I mentioned, following us, it is the ARCA season opener. Then it's the Xfinity Series turn with race day, Shannon Spake and the gang. And then the Xfinity race will be coming to you on FS1. So the ARCA field is wide open. Top 3 in points have all moved up to the Truck Series. So let's check in once again with Josh, who is standing by with one of the drivers who's starting up front.
Thanks, Caitlin. Here with the pole sitter for the ARCA Menards Series race at Daytona. First of all, what does that mean to you in your first time here to be on the pole?
It's huge, you know. I mean, we're here at Daytona. It's my first time here, and to be on the pole, I couldn't be really more excited. Just a big thanks to my Joe Gibbs Racing team. They brought a really fast Moto 1 Toyota Camry, and our plan is just to ride the yellow line and hopefully stay out front all day.
What have you learned over the last couple of days of practice and qualifying that help you out in this super speedway racing?
Yeah, we were able to make a few small adjustments after practice, which I feel like helped our car. You know, we only ran the 1 lap in qualifying yesterday, but it seemed to drive good in traffic and obviously has a lot of speed, so not much more I can ask for, and hopefully it stays good all day here today, and we're there at the end.
Thanks, and good luck, Connor.
Thank you, Josh. Well, the intensity is ramping up because it's almost go time. How are these drivers feeling? Some of them don't have a lot of experience.
Some of them are probably pretty nervous right now. And Connor, he's on the pole for his first time at Daytona. So I can only imagine. And Bobby and I, we both had a first time when we walked into Daytona and we made laps. And you're going to learn so much today. He is going to learn something on restarts, getting on pit road, drafting. And, oh, by the way, he's going for a win. You know, he's got a fast race car. So these young kids, the guys and girls, that they're going to go to school today.
Yeah, obviously he's driving for Joe Gibbs Racing, so that's going to be a fast race car. There's 17 rookies in this race. I think we talked about yellow stripes on the bumper, so that's a lot. But you think also after this race today at 5 o'clock, we got the Xfinity race starting, you know, and just all the excitement going to that. All those drivers are probably going to take a nap and maybe to get ready for that race. And, you know, you're going to see those guys out there trying to beat Austin Hill. A lot of guys trying to get that first win or try to repeat as a win as well.
Yeah, if you're a race fan, you want to be tuned in.
It's a great day to be a race fan.
It's a great day to be in Daytona.
It sure is. All right, for Bobby, David, myself, that does it for us. It's time now to go racing out in Daytona Beach, Florida. So we send it to the ARCA booth and say hello to Jamie Little.
Yes, thank you, Caitlin. We are ready to go here at Daytona International Speedway. It's been a long off season, but today is the day. ARCA Menards Series Racing is back. This is the Menards 200. And today we have a special guest with us. He is the 2022 Daytona 500 champion. There is the moment he crossed the finish line, celebrating with the crowd, and now he wears a beautiful diamond ring. What a moment that was, and we welcome him in. Austin Cindric joining us in the booth, Phil Parsons, of course. And, you know, Austin, last year you were in the booth with us a couple of times, and, you know, we'll take that as a compliment. You had so much fun. You wanted to come back. Do you have your big ring?
No, New Year.
What a moment. What a moment it was a year ago. What's it like to come back to Daytona?
It's certainly the most special this racetrack's ever been to me, obviously with a win like that, but to do it in front of a sold-out crowd and the amount of fan attendance we have this weekend behind us is really special, and that moment is what everybody in this ARCA Menards field dreams of, and I've gotten to live that, and this is where it starts. So I'm excited to see these drivers today, see the challenges, and see what they learn, because there's a lot of inexperience in the field, and there's a wide range of drivers.
Exactly, inexperience. That's what we've been talking about all morning, Phil. I mean, we've got a full field, 40 drivers. What are you looking for?
Well, almost half this field has never been to Daytona before. They have that dream that Austin was talking about, and almost half this field are rookies. So they don't know what they don't know. You know, a lot of these drivers really don't have much experience even on pavement. They came from dirt tracks. So this is a wide open race. Anything can happen in this race. But one of the guys that I want to keep my eye on is, I think that the favorite really for the championship as well as today in this race is Jesse Love. He just turned 18 in January, but already accomplished a 2-time West Series champion. He's already won twice in the series. I think Jesse Love is a guy to keep an eye on, and he's part of that very strong Ford Venturini team.
Yes, and he's a very confident young man. And Austin, you just got out of your Cup car about an hour ago. It's a little colder, a little windier. What are these drivers up against? They haven't been in their race car since yesterday.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot windier during Cup practice, specifically a headwind down the back straightaway and a tailwind on the front stretch. And why that's so important is because exiting turn 4 and through the triover, your two hardest places for handling in your race car are going to be a lot tougher to drive with this wind. So it should be fun to see how they handle it. And it'll be the first time all these drivers have had 40 cars in a field and know what it's like in the pack. So a lot of wide eyes for the first couple laps,
yeah,
I think.
Right now they think they know what their car has, but they only had packs of 5 out there. You know, we talk about a diverse field. There it is right there. Ages of drivers, 18 to 62. So you got the development guys going on, and then you just have those journeymen.
For the love of the game.
The love of the game. We've got a mix out there, and you see female drivers, 5, the most since 2010, and we've got some very accomplished ladies, and we'll get to them in just a little bit. And we also have, well, a famous actor. You may know him as Malcolm in the Middle, Frankie Muniz. It all started back in 2001, the Daytona 500. He was a guest here at the racetrack, met some of the most famous drivers, including Dale Earnhardt, but that day solidified his love for racing, and he is with us today living his dream, and it's not just a one-off. He's standing by with Jamie Howe.
For Frankie Muniz, this has been a dream in the making for over 20 years. It's finally come to fruition. You live your life by a script, though. You can't script anything here at Daytona. How do you approach this race?
You know, I'm obviously so excited to be here. This literally is a dream come true. I've worked so hard to get here. I mean, it took 20 years, but we're here. And I'm emotional right now because I can't believe it's actually happening. You know, obviously there is so much that's out of your control in this race, but I just want to get a clean start, you know, get some laps under our belt, get into a rhythm, get comfortable, and hopefully move towards the front. I wish we had a better qualifying position, but, you know, we were really fast in practice, so I know we have a fast car, and we can, when we get up there, we can stay up there. So hopefully we'll get up there soon.
All of the opportunities that you've had off the track, some even on the racetrack, what made this the moment that you wanted to come and finally chase this dream?
You know, Daytona, like this is the pinnacle of motorsports, right? Like racing here. This is the Super Bowl, and you know, I've been here as a fan, and the fact that I'm about to start here is mind blowing. So I knew I wanted to come ARCA racing. I want to go NASCAR racing. I want to be in this world for a long time. You know what I mean? And this is hopefully just race 1 of many to come, and I don't know. I'm hungry for the win, you know, but we'll see what happens.
All right, he led practice. He qualified 16th. We'll see what happens today.
Thank you, Jamie. And yes, this, like I said, isn't just a one-off. He is here, and his history in racing, it started in open wheel. You see it there. He won the Toyota Long Beach Grand Prix, the celebrity race back in 2004. But he also ran 2 seasons in Champ Car. This has been a dream of his, something that he loves to do. Acting just pays the bills to race, but he's made it to stock cars. What do you think of his chances?
Well, you heard Frankie talk about it. He's been trying to do this for a long time. And you see he was back in 2006. You know, that's a long time.
All right, well, Frankie is buckled in, and 38 of his friends, they're ready to go. Let's go trackside for the command to fire engines.
And now, race fans, here to say the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome Brandt CEO and President Rick Brandt, joined by Florida Future Farmers of America State President Annalise Bullard and Area State Vice President Tyler Live.
Wow! Daytona! In true Brandt style, it's time to cause a party! Drivers, start your engines!
Rick Brandt, a heck of a command of fire engines. Everybody heard that, but they are ready to go. Jesse Love, Tony Breidinger, Frankie Muniz, they are ready. The wait is over. We'll drop the green flag soon.
The ARCA Menards Series is back. The 2023 season kicks off at the world center of racing, where legacies are made. But only one will find glory at Daytona. For the rest, defeat.
And they're wrecking a big one here at Daytona. I don't want nothing to drink. I'm here to work. Only one spot for me. I gotta be first.
A new season brings new opportunities for drivers looking to make their name known. Who will be next?
And we welcome you to the World Center of Racing for the Menards 200 as cars get ready to roll off pit road. It's been an active and fun, eventful few days here at Daytona. They had practice on Thursday, one session, and then it was group qualifying on Friday. See who turned the fastest lap. There he is. The General Tire Pole Award was won by Connor Mosack. He's in the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Very nice job for him, his first career pole. And as we take a look at the rest of today's starting grid brought to you by Menards, that lineup is on the left-hand side of the screen. We want to check in with one of the gentlemen on the front row. Let's dial him up, shall we, gentlemen? Let's talk to Jesse Love.
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, Jesse Love, Bill Parsons and the folks up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, Jesse, you just turned 18 in January. I know you've, excuse me, tested here a couple times. What does it feel like at now and these pace laps as you're getting ready to start your first time at Daytona?
Yeah, it's awesome. Obviously, just going to thank Yahoo and Toyota, everybody, for helping make this Toyota Camry TRD fast today, and we have a really good shot at it. So just got to wait for my teammates to get on up here, and we should have a really good shot. So it's a lot of hard work has gone into getting us here. Just want to thank Trent and Tyler and Jack and everybody so much for the opportunity to be here, and obviously Billy Venturini and Shane Rush and Tyler Mon, everybody that's putting in their hard work this week.
Hey, Jesse, it's Austin Cindric. Look, I'm sure you've been waiting for this moment a long time, got a lot of good experience, been kicking butt on the short tracks. 18 years old, you're ready to take on the super speedways. What are you looking forward to learning the most? What do you not know that you're looking forward to learn today?
Yeah, if you just want to stay on the radio the whole race and walk me through it, that'd be great. But, no, I mean, obviously just watching people like you get it done here has helped me out a ton, doing my homework and knowing what to do. So I don't have to second guess anything today. And obviously Tyler Bond, with how good he is, I'm confident in every aspect of the race today. So just looking forward to learning how to get to victory lane. Wherever that is, I'll go find my way there today.
Sounds great, Jesse. Good luck today. Sounds like you've done your homework.
Yep, thank you.
And Jesse Love starting second on the front row. And Jesse has three teammates. He mentioned it, but they are scattered throughout the starting field. And two of his teammates are women. We mentioned earlier there's 5 ladies in the field. That's the most since 2010. There they are. Amber Balkin, you remember her from last year. She ran a full season. She's starting in the back. Tony Breidinger is back as well, but Logan Mizuraka really stands out to me, making her debut.
Yeah, she has a lot of laps at this racetrack. She's actually a driving instructor here at Daytona, so she said she drives about 2 Daytona 500s a day.
Well, Tony Breidinger knows how to get around this place. Top 10 here last year, finished 8th. She's standing by with Heather DeBow. Talked to her earlier.
And for Tony Breidinger, she could become one of the first females ever to get it done here in the ARCA Series and get a win here today. Potentially, also, you could go for your 6th consecutive win here with Venturini Motorsports. You could be the driver to get it done. So how do you mentally prepare to make history here today?
Yeah, I mean, no pressure, right? But, yeah, I mean, I know I have a fast FP Movement Toyota Camry. Billy Venturini and the whole team brought me a really fast car, and I know all my teammates are fast. So I think the biggest thing for me is making sure I get together with them. I think we'll be unstoppable.
Now you're starting 12th. You're actually right behind your teammate here in Gustine. Everybody makes a plan going into these races, and we know how quickly they can change. But what's the best case scenario for you here in these opening laps?
Yeah, I would say best case scenario is I just follow wherever Gus goes, and we just kind of team up and work our way to the front.
All right, Tony Breidinger, she is starting her 3rd race here at Daytona International Speedway, and maybe today could be 3rd time's a charm for her and her team as they chase history.
Thank you so much, Heather. And you see it there. Cars are on the track. The hard work from the off-season is done. We are about to go racing. We will drop the green flag from Daytona next. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern, head over to the ARCA Menards Series Twitter and Facebook pages at ARCA_racing to vote on what moment you think was today's sweet move of the race presented by Reese's. And we had a lot of fun with that last year, especially at the Super Speedway races.
And Jamie ate all the Reese's.
Hey now, hey now.
I don't blame her.
They weighed like 5 pounds apiece. Did you see those?
Let's take a look at our race analysis. This race is 80 laps. 200 miles. You see we're going to have a race break on or around lap number 40, but if the guys get in their window, they could pit early before that race break. Last year's winner was Corey Hamm, as he has the last 2 years here.
take a look at the track description.
Obviously, one of the biggest racetracks we go to, 2.5 miles. Got 31 degrees banking the turns. Triable, although it has some banking, you might as well not have it because it's really, really sketchy, and I think you're going to see a lot of movement out of these cars here early in the race. So long straightaways and a lot of wide open time.
The hearts are pumping right now. 39 cars in the field. I think we said there's 18 making their first start at Daytona, and you'll know those by the yellow bumpers.
Look at that wind. It's blowing.
It was blowing this morning.
This is like more than earlier.
12 to 18 mile per hour wind gusts. Did not have that yesterday for qualifying or practice on Thursday, really.
That's been really calm until we had to actually put in races.
And Austin, you went out this morning, but you did single car runs, so you didn't really feel the effects in traffic of that wind.
No, it just adds to the complication when you have all that wind, being able to understand what your car is doing, if it's the wind, if it's your car, and they're all about to figure that out right now.
And the pace car is off. Connor Mosack in the 18. Jesse Love on the outside. Green flag is in the air, and Connor with a good launch.
Yeah, Jesse does the right thing, tucking in there down on the bottom, trying to get behind. Everybody's pretty unorganized, trying to get up to speed. I think, Phil, you and I were talking, this field's pretty jumbled up with the group qualifying, trying to see who latches onto who and if you might have some breakaways.
See that double yellow line on the inside? That is your friend. You see Connor Mosack right down there. Out of bounds, you cannot improve your position going under the double yellow line. So we're going to see guys and girls try to form up that outside line. But generally speaking, they're going to want to stay against that double yellow line.
I think the one thing, too, from the driver's perspective, it's a lot easier to judge off the car in front of you. I mean, you look back in the field and you're tucked right up behind the car in front of you. You can't really see anything except for what's beside you. So that line definitely makes it feel a lot safer as you see the outside lane finally getting a little bit more formed up and see what kind of momentum they can generate.
Nice smooth start so far. Connor off and running, and Jesse Love told me he wanted to lead that first lap, but he had to think about it, and as you saw, he tucked right inside the 18, running second now. Jason Kitzmiller, the 97 third, and Andy J's back. Andy Jankowiak in the 73, running fourth right now.
Yeah, a couple top 10 finishes in his career here at Daytona. Always runs well, has wheeling backings.
Oh. Got a bit on the,
got a car around already, the 45. That's Tony Cosentino. Yellow flag is out for the first time.
Hold those brakes. Hold those brakes.
No harm,
get fired up. Just get rolling here. We didn't hit anything. Just spun out.
Didn't I just say we had a nice clean start?
Yes.
You jinxed him.
Yep, sure did. He was running in the 23rd spot. Mansfield, Ohio, trying to get it refired now. It's going to be back, a little beyond mid-pack.
Kind of a push gone wrong coming out of turn 2, and everyone scatters. And I think the 45 probably got ran over from behind trying to slow down, but didn't hit anything. Long race, should be no problem. Maybe put on tires.
You really alluded to it. It's hard to see through these cars. Let's get another look at it here. Hard to see through these cars, so you really don't know. You run into the back of somebody and try to push him, but he may be pushing the car in front of him too. So
yeah, the 2 car got a really big run off the nose of the 32, and the 63 was just kind of a sitting duck there, and good deal. She was able to save it and have no problems, but that stack up really affects the cars behind you.
Looks like he'll bring it down pit road, and they do have 2 sets of tires, or 8 tires as they call it here in the ARCA Menards series. You mentioned the 2. We have LeVar Scott running this race in the 2, and you remember you saw Nick Sanchez last year was with that team and brought it home. Victory Lane was the champion, but he has now moved up to the Truck Series.
It's kind of a one-off for him. He will run the first East, but the full East schedule for Rev Racing.
When you talk about being in the pack, that's probably the biggest run LeVar Scott has gotten the entire weekend. And oh my gosh, what do I do with it? What's happening? I need to take this because it's productive for the pack, but you don't really know what to do with it till you have it.
We mentioned this is a development series, and you see 4 of our stars from the series last year have moved on up. Where are they now? Nick Sanchez, Truck Series, Daniel Dye.
I really enjoyed watching all 4 of these drivers last year really duke it out. I mean, the battles between the teammates, between Nick and Roger Carruth. Sammy Smith, I think, has done a really great job in his first couple Xfinity starts. And obviously, Daniel Dye had a rough night last night in the Truck Series, but I think we should have a good year with GMS.
Yeah, would you believe that 32 either former Rookie of the Year and or champions in the ARCA platform are now racing in the 3 Top Series.
That's
32.
It's where it starts in the ARCA Menards series. Like I said earlier, this is the only place in the world that you can get this kind of experience on these types of racetracks.
It's like Tony Breidinger bringing it down pit road. Let's check in with our pit reporters. Here's Heather.
And we'll check in with the 55 right now as to what the issue is as they're coming onto pit road. But one driver I wanted to speak about is one of the rookies in the field, hometown driver Logan Mizuraka. She's in the 63 car. Now, she is a rookie, although she has more experience than anybody here at Daytona International Speedway. And how do you ask? Well, Phil mentioned it. She is a driver in the NASCAR racing experience, and her day job is to take people around the track in ride-alongs here at Daytona. So she has logged over 20,000 miles at this racetrack, so a lot of experience for her. Also, she should feel right at home because the pit stall that she is using here today is the same exact pit stall that they use for her job with that ride-along crew. So she will know exactly where to stop when it comes time to pit here, but she said she's excited for this opportunity and she's looking forward to bringing her experience to today's race. Jamie?
Well, Connor Mozak, Heather, was our pole sitter, and even after this caution, he has maintained that first position, and that's something that he was a little bit concerned about as this race continues to unfold. We talked about the dominance of Venturini here at Daytona, and one of the reasons they're able to do that is because they bring out so many cars. It's about racing in the pack. It's about using each other to push. Connor doesn't have all of those teammates, so he's going to need a little bit of help today, but he's got a lot of eyes on him. Standing behind me, Ty Gibbs, he was the 2021 ARCA champion, and making his step up into Cup. We know what this team is capable of giving him, and he wants to take full advantage of this opportunity, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie and Heather. Looking forward to hearing your reports throughout the day. Hey, look who's hanging out. Ty Gibbs taking in the ARCA Menards series action. We're going to step aside. We're under caution for the first time today. And welcome back to the Menards 200. As the green flag getting ready to be displayed once again. Connor Mozak, Jesse Love, nothing has changed up front. And we are back to green.
Much more organized restart, too. I think everyone got the rust knocked off, figured out what's going on, and we got an even front row heading to turn 1.
I thought they might have had a plan on the initial start for Jesse to get in behind, but doesn't look like it here.
No, we're too wide in side draft, and we're racing now. I like this.
Got Kitzmiller, the 97. Red and black car, second row inside. Andy Jankowiak, the white and red number 73 on the outside. Looks like Greg Van Alst pulls up on Kitzmiller to give him a little bit of a push.
Yeah, bottom lane's pushing pretty well. Should give Connor the option to be clear into turn 3. See if the outside lane can get 73 car Jankowiak's got a pretty good push to the 20 car here and making that outside lane work.
In the 35, Greg Van Alst third on the inside line. He's got a brand new car. He's running full time this year, has some good funding, says this is the best car they have had. I said, so who are you planning on running with? Because they're a single car operation. He's like, you're just going to have to wait and see who I made my deals with. Moving to the front.
That's a Journal of Tire on board for Greg Van Alst. He told me that he went on social media, said what he was trying to do, what he was up against. And he said he has 20 companies that came on board to help him up for this race. He said some just a little bit and some more, obviously.
Well, you see a team like this, it's all volunteers. He runs these cars out of his own race shop in Indiana, and they're just doing it because they love it. And he's able to put together an entire season here. So he's got a good car here, moved into 4th place already. Andy J, another one. 3 wide. We've got
Jack Wood, the 6th, the white and black car on the outside. He's going to tuck back in now.
And he had to start from the back. He had some issues yesterday in qualifying, so he's making his way up. Biggest mover so far of the race.
Jack's got a good amount of experience
last night too. Yeah,
he's got a good amount of experience, so you should be able to take advantage of these guys with the Sioux Chief on board. So I think Jack should be at the front of this field in little amount of time.
We heard Jack have to get out of the throttle there behind the 74 of Mandy Chick.
You see that Sioux Chief fast track. He is on the fast track. He's moved up to Kyle Busch Motorsports. Well, he's sharing that 51 truck with the man, Kyle Busch.
I'll tell you what, Andy's delivering some good pushes the outside lane with Jesse Love. And that's good experience for Jesse. We talked to him early in the race. He's out there side drafting like the best of them. You would have thought he would have done this a time or two.
Yeah, Andy's doing a great job. You know what Andy does by day, right?
Pizza.
Yeah, pizza delivery man.
Love me some pizza.
Yes.
If he wins, are we getting pizza up here for him?
Surely we are.
Good.
Yes.
We absolutely will.
If he doesn't win, can we still get pizza?
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Upstate New York, we ask him every year, have you moved on? Nope, I'm still delivering pizzas. And every time I get a tip, which sometimes they're better because they recognize him, he says just another $1 for Daytona. Let's check in with Jamie Howe.
I talked to Andy out on the grid, and we had that conversation about pizza delivery, and he said, you know what, I actually made a little bit of mistake getting ready for Daytona. He forgot to get his shift covered for tomorrow at Bob and John's Pizza. But the owner's son, John, he's going to cover that shift for him. He'll be back to work on Thursday. He said, all jokes aside, you know, every penny I make still goes into this race program. This is still very much chasing a dream for him.
Love that story.
Yeah, such a diverse field here. We have the people like Jesse Love that Toyota's taken under their wing to move him through the series. And then you have people like Andy J who work, all volunteer pit crewmen, have regular jobs, and here because they just love it.
We've seen a lot of movement in that outside lane. We got a lot of cars starting to understand what their handling limitations are, and I think with 4 or 5 laps on the tires, it's probably the first window you're going to be able to feel, you know, what your car has and what it needs, and a few very aggressive pushes further back.
A little bit of contact right there, midfield.
3 wide. See the 15. There's Amber Balkin. Different team this year. She's with Venturini Motorsports. Just right now doing a couple of races with them, the big tracks.
Black and white car, the Hare Club car. There's an icon on board for Amber Balkin.
These are 2 drivers with experience, trying to get 3 wide, trying to get to the front of the field with Jack Wood and Amber. And I think Jack's trying to get a run and keep his help with Amber because he knows that she's trying to work her way to the front with him.
Yeah, Amber had 6 top 10 finishes last year running full time.
Amber Balkin in the 15, up 6 spots.
Tim Richmond, the 27, stuck in the middle there for a moment. Here comes Sean Corr. Sean Corr was a victim of what happened to Amber during qualifying. Amber actually exploded an oil cooler, and Sean Corr had a lot of damage trying to avoid Amber. Came down off the racetrack onto the apron. It looks like the guys did a great job fixing that car, and he's always contender here. He's had 3 top 5 finishes here at Daytona.
You see how that 3 wide racing really hurt the outside lane with Jesse Love. He was no longer able to contend for the lead. They lost a couple rows, and now that they've gotten organized again in that second lane, they're actually making ground.
Would you say they have no energy on the outside?
They're gaining energy on the outside.
They're trying to gain some energy. Gotcha.
They need Jack Wood to get back in line for their energy to come back.
That's the Menards Richmond on board for Jesse Love.
You can hear those RPMs pick up.
Get away from him, though. He's on your quarter.
And the RPMs come down. Tyler Mond saying he's giving the driver information why he's slowing down. Got a little smoke. Trouble. Something's happening.
Got a car in the wall. You saw the debris.
69.
Scott Melton.
He was one of those cars that looked pretty loose.
Down a little bit.
Big damage and fire. He was running 7th.
Get to the bottom. Get to the bottom. Get to the bottom.
Scott Melton, you see him on the screen, 61 years young.
Remember, he had that bad crash at Talladega last year and broke his leg and was out a couple months.
He's got the window net down, which is good. He's moving. He's trying to get out here.
Maybe some fire inside that car.
Nice looking car.
He moved his way up into the 7th spot. I was just about to mention the run that he was on.
He was saying this is the best car he's ever had at Daytona. This is Bill and Will Kimmel look after this car.
Let's take a look and see what exactly happened. At the right side of your screen, you see that blue and white number 69.
Right behind the 73 of Andy
J. We might have a little sandwich here.
Looked like he got a little bit of push, and push was a little bit off center, I think, and it put him up in the outside wall.
Yeah, so if we were to look a little bit further back, so Jack Wood was delivering a really nice push to, I believe that was 11 car behind the 69, and when those 3 cars all jam up together, the energy's got to go somewhere, and just being that little bit off center, you saw it in the duels in the Cup race, just being that little bit off center can really upset the car, and I'm not sure Scott was really expecting that push.
That was the 11 of Bryce Hageberg.
Pretty reasonable impact there.
Yeah, and I mean, we're 12 laps into the race. I mean, you know, these drivers see you guys doing it on Sundays.
Robbie Lyons saw that coming before anybody else. He was bailing.
Yeah, and I think it's way too early to be pushing and shoving here.
That's the thing. It's different agendas in these races. We're talking about, Jack Wood and Amber. They have the experience to know how to make their way back up through the field, whereas there's probably the majority of the field just trying to figure out what's happening. So it's good to see Scott getting out of the car and checking things over.
And you see the frustration right there. So frustrated. Had such a good race car. Glad to see he looks all right. AMR crew is on it. They will take him to the infield care center and big impact right there. We're under caution for the second time here at Daytona.
Daytona is one of those tracks that no matter how many times you go, I feel like you still get like goosebumps as soon as you get to the track. And I always get nervous, no matter what, like before that first lap, I always get a little bit anxious. All week people have been asking me like, are you nervous? Are you ready? And it didn't really hit me until I was driving through the tunnel, and to actually be here racing is kind of surreal.
To be here for my first ARCA Menards series start is pretty insane. This is I feel like the pinnacle of racing is racing here at Daytona, and I'm super excited to be here.
Years and years and years of dreaming about coming down here and racing, and I still can't believe this is the life I get to live.
It's a little bit different. Football has a Super Bowl at the end of the season. We have Daytona, right here at the beginning.
Last year was my first time racing here, and it really was a dream come true, but now we're in a super fast car, and I think we got a good shot at winning here.
Every time we come here, there's always a chance that pretty much anybody could win this race, so just hoping that that's us by the day's end on Saturday.
I love the emotion that's tied to Daytona. No matter who you are, what series you're in, this is a place that, you fulfill your dreams or you leave with a broken heart. And most often, it's the latter. Well, we are under caution here at Daytona for the second time. This is why.
Just a push gone wrong, a little bit off-center push onto the back of Scott Melton. Hard contact into the outside wall.
We had a little more activity. I think a wreck brewing even before the 69 getting the wall. You look at the top right of your screen there, and you're going to see a black car get shuffled to the middle. I think this was a slingshot engaged moment. Didn't know he was quite not clear, and boom, that is Malcolm in the middle of 3 wide.
Frankie Muniz, in other words.
Frankie Muniz, yeah. He was going for a move, and I don't think he knew Dale Cordeley was on his outside.
And that other 4-car, Dale Cordeley actually squeezed him back after Frankie was in the middle.
And here's the fire that we saw that engaged after that hard nose impact. He was able to get out of his car under his own power. Very frustrated.
Almost looked like fuel. It didn't really look like the oil fire.
Oh man, he is so. That's the feeling when you got a good race car and it's over. You can't do anything about it, and it's tough.
Worked 4 months over the winter to get here.
So much
something happens like that.
Thinking about. And speaking of Frankie Muniz, he's in the 30 right here. We saw him this morning. He just pointed at his stomach and said, "I'm just so nervous for this moment." Maybe that was one of those times, Austin. He was back there. Guys are getting squirrely. That energy is kind of moving all around you, and boom, he was hit on both sides.
See, I think that was great for him because his hair's standing up now. He knows what's happening. He's part of the fight. I think that's probably good. It probably gets you to relax a little bit because at first you don't want to hurt your race car. I'm sure he's really enjoying this moment, but you don't want to hurt your race car. And now that he's finally gotten a door ding and pushed somebody out of the way, he's going to be okay with it now. He's going to just go racing.
You talked about his hair standing up. He's sponsored by Hair Club for Men.
Yeah, perfect.
I mean, look at you.
I do what I can.
Natural.
Yeah.
Look at Frankie. Pro celebrity race win. I know that feeling well. He got the bug then, didn't look back. Jumped into open wheel cars, thought maybe IndyCar was where he wanted to go, but he fell in love with stock cars, and this became his goal to run in the ARCA Menards series. So running full time, as you see, we have brought the cars to a stop. Let's get an update. Here's Jamie.
You mentioned all of the work that Frankie Muniz has done getting ready for this moment. I sat down with him in the lounge this morning, and his resting heart rate while he was just sitting there putting a visor on his helmet was 150 beats per minute. I asked him what normal was, and he said it was about 60. So he is way pegged on the nerve meter. He said this moment means something. He's taking all of it in. Talk about getting hit out there on both sides. Those are all of the lessons that he knows he needs to learn to be able to be out here competing full season.
Yeah, such a great story to follow, and I know he just Can't wait to get going, all this anticipation, and now you're stopped, sitting here. Well, what happened here? The cleanup truck was having a little bit of trouble, I hear. Slipping and sliding after the cleanup.
Oh no! Jeez.
Need a pit stop for the cleanup truck. And welcome back to Daytona. A special moment yesterday. Daniel Dye got the 2022 ARCA Menards Series Rookie of the Year. Chris Buescher, he was the 2012 ARCA champion, presented that award. So congratulations to him. The Bounty Rookie. The spotlight this week is the number 2 of LeVar Scott, making his debut in this series, doing a nice job so far in the 9th position.
Yeah, it's going to be a one-off for him. He's going to be full-time for Rev Racing in the East Series, but Andres Perez de Lara is not old enough to race here. He will run full-time in that 2 car. Once we leave here at Daytona, he will turn 18 and be able to run the rest of the races. So one-off here, but he's won at Hickory Motor Speedway, and I'm telling you, that's one of the toughest plates around to get a win, and LeVar Scott has won at Hickory in the late model division.
Great personality. He told me he went over to the Cup Garage. He already had talked to Kyle Larson. He was going to talk to Bubba just to get some feedback and understanding of what to expect today. And obviously, so far, it's paying off. Let's go down to the pits. Check in with Jamie Howe.
We saw when Scott Melton was able to get out of the car under his own power, the frustration in his body language. He's now been released from the Infield Care Center. What do you make of the accident out on the racetrack?
It's absolutely stupid. It's insane. Lap 6, lap 7, what's the point? He hit me 3 times. First time he straight up, second time a little bit in the right rear, third time straight, or left rear, excuse me. Third time straight in, hooked me and sent me in the wall. 6, 7 laps in. My crew has busted their butts for a year to put that car together, man. We've worked 4 years to get here, to be up front where we belong. We're finally got a car that's running, and somebody, lap 6, lap 7, I'm speechless.
We talked a lot about the youth versus the wisdom that's in the field today, and for the season, really. With having that experience now out on the racetrack, what is the energy like out there?
Well, up front it's a little bit crazy, but I mean that's just the nature of the beast here. I mean there's so much air and things happen really fast, but you need to know how to not run people over. I'm very frustrated.
Thank you. Well, after that hard impact, I'm so glad to see Scott Melton walking under his own power and able to be frustrated, and you understand it. I mean, so much time, sweat, and tears went into building this race car. We'll step aside. More from Daytona. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. And by Bounty. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. And welcome back to Daytona as we continue under a red flag condition as cleanup continues. Quite a bit of cleanup inside turn 4. So, you know, the drivers are sitting on the backstretch stopped right now. I want to make sure that they're awake. Should we check in with somebody?
Yeah, how about Andy J? Let's check in with him. Hey, Andy, Phil Parsons and the guys up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, Phil. How are you?
Good, buddy. That Wheeland car looks pretty fast today. You've been making some nice moves here. You got a plan? What's your plan? Are you running with anyone in particular?
We're trying to work real hard with the 20, see if we can get something going here. So we're going to see what happens. We were making a little bit of headway there, and hopefully we get hooked back up here and try to make it work. So I got my spotter, TJ Majors. He's kind of coaching me on the side draft and stuff, and everyone on my team's kind of helping me through it. So, yeah, we got a hot rod, man. Hoping to go to the front and be able to race for this thing at the end.
You know, guys, we joke about the fact that your day job is delivering pizzas, and Austin Cindric is up here with us, and he said if you win the race, will you make sure you get us some pizzas up to the booth?
Bob and John's is about 1,000 miles away, so you know, it'd be a hefty tip.
Well, we can handle that. We can handle that. But you're doing a great job, buddy. Keep it going.
Thank you so much for everything you guys do. Hopefully I'm talking to you later.
One of the nicest guys as he sits 6th right now. But 2 years ago, he came down here to Daytona, wing and a prayer. He bought a car, got it ready, brought down his buddies, and he's like, we're going to run this race. I'm going to check it off my bucket list, and then we're going to sell the car. Well, he had a great run, and he got a lot of attention, and he ran multiple races that year, did the same last year, and here he is. I mean, TJ Majors is his sponsor. Like, he's upped his game.
Absolutely.
Let's check in with Heather DeBow. What are you hearing, Heather?
Well, Jamie, it's kind of interesting. I've been listening to a lot of conversation as we sit under this red flag, and one in particular was with the 74 of Mandy Chick. Now, Mandy, 21 years old right here. She is studying engineering in school. She's very smart, has a lot of stuff that's going on in her life, including being the president of Tri Delta Gamma Pi. Starting in April, she will take office of that, and she says she also has finals next week. But what I wanted to get to was the conversation on what their plan is when we go green. They said their plan is to tow in behind the 55 of Tony Breidinger to get to the front, and she also told her team, hey guys, I have a rocket ship, and they said, okay, well, if we make it happen, we're gonna get a tattoo on our butt today. So you guys wanted pizza from Andy, but Austin, do you want to get a tattoo with her if she ends up in victory lane? What do you think?
I will take the pizza from Andy over the butt tattoo from Mandy, but I'm sure she's pretty smart going to Rose Home. My dad went there. It's not easy school to get into, so hopefully she's having fun today and has a great result.
Not something that you expect to hear. I remember when Austin Dillon won this race, though. He and all of his buddies, the whole team, they got tattoos.
In the middle of the night, yeah.
Where she said. But Mandy Chick right now shown as 15. Well, we're 15 laps in. Let's look at our biggest movers of the race so far.
Jack Wood, that's the Sioux Chief onboard. Jack, 26 spots. Remember, he broke a transmission in qualifying, so started way back in the 36th position. Jack all the way up now into the top 10.
26 spots in 15 laps. You do the math,
pretty darn
people.
Good.
That's pretty good.
See Sean Core right behind that, 25 spots up. Another one of the cars that had trouble in qualifying. Sean, always a great competitor. Former pole sitter here for the ARCA race in Daytona.
And Amber Balkin, running for Venturini Motorsports, had that issue in qualifying, so had to start in the back and said, I've got an onboard, a great sponsor, and a fast race car I'm going to put on a show. So she's already moved up 23 spots since we dropped the first green flag. Track work continues. It's serious over there. This is turn 4 that you're looking at as they continue making repairs. We'll step aside and we'll be back and hopefully drop the green flag. Absolutely gorgeous day here in Daytona Beach at the racetrack. Little clouds, perfect temperature. It was a little chilly this morning. Winds are still up, but this is the perfect day for racing. And hey, it's a doubleheader. Coming up after our race right here on FS1, the roar of the engines for the NASCAR Xfinity Series returns as the future stars of auto racing brace for 300 miles of door-to-door action right here at Daytona. It all starts today at 5 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. We talk about the future stars. Got one standing to my right. That's Austin Cindric.
He's not a future star. He is a star.
He became
I'm just a driver. I'm just a driver.
Well, he was certainly a standout in the Xfinity Series. And what are you looking at today?
I've never seen this before. I've never seen them tether themselves to the catch fence to try and clean the racetrack. I mean, that shows you how much banking there is at Daytona.
Well, and we're told that they're having such a hard time getting the cleanup trucks up there, as we saw them sliding down the banking, that they're having to do it by hand. So obviously they've had to do this before. So hats off to the cleanup crew. They're getting that kitty litter, that sand down there to absorb the oil. As the pit crews hang out and wait, we welcome you back inside, and we're happy to have you. Gosh, all this waiting and anticipation, and now we have to sit here and wait for everybody, the pit crews. But what are they thinking? What do you do under a red flag condition?
Well, I think it gives, I keep coming back to the lack of experience. It gives a lot of these drivers, they just had as Scott alluded to in his very animated interview and exit of his race car, there's a lot of pushing and shoving going on early, and it gives everybody a time to really digest that and what they did, what they were able to do, what they would do better next time, and you're going to be able to use that time off to be able to do that. I really liked what I saw out of Jesse Love in the first couple laps, pulling side drafts, being able to lead the outside lane. Andy did a really great job, keeping him engaged with the front. So I'm excited excited to see how he evolves through the rest of the race.
How about Frankie Muniz, though? He was up on the chip there, and what that incident
He was in the
we saw.
middle. He was in the middle, as Austin said. I love that, but I think Connor Mosak obviously is doing exactly what he needs to do. He sat on the pole. He's staying against the double yellow line, doing a great job. But I'm really interested to see. We talked about the biggest movers. I'm really to see what Jack Wood can do when he gets up there, as well as Sean Corr and some of the others that had poor qualifying positions, starting positions. Once they make it to the front, how is that going to jumble up the field?
Yeah, and you've listened to a few interviews with Amber Balkin. She's one of the biggest movers as well, and she's pretty much followed the coattails of Jack Wood up to the front of the field. But in every single one of her interviews, she knows how fast her race car is. She's poised to take advantage of the opportunity, and I think you see that in her driving today.
Yeah, and I think she has a little bit more confidence, too, and obviously made a deal with Jack and said, hey, I want to go where you are. We're starting in the back. Let's work together and move forward. And I'm impressed with Jack Wood and what we've seen him, what he's done today so far. And the red flag, it's gone. The caution flag is coming out, so we will get back to racing here shortly. But we have 2 pit reporters down on pit road. Let's check in with Jamie Howe.
We talked about the diverse backgrounds in the field today. One of those, Dale Quarterly in the number 4. Yes, that Dale Quarterly, if you're a fan of two-wheel racing from back in the 90s, raced superbikes. He was involved in a crash here back in 1995, still has the scars from it. But you notice the odd look of the number placement, his name, you can see the DA, the space LE. So he actually purchased this car. This is an old Daniel Dye car. He ran the number 43. He has said he has better ways of spending his money. He didn't want to rewrap it, so he just took the 3 off, left the number 4, took out the extra letters in Daniel Dye to spell out Dale, but he's making the most of this opportunity today and just having fun, looking to move forward. Heather?
So now the pressure is on for Mandy Chick. Word on the street travels really fast here. Her family and friends that were watching at home at their watch party just informed the team that we told them if they win, everybody's got to get a tattoo. So now the entire team is on board. They're all going to end up at the tattoo parlor if that 74 is in Victory Lane later today.
Oh, my goodness.
And Austin.
No, y'all are sitting in the camera crew. I got a race to prepare for tomorrow, and it's not going to be with a number 74 on my butt cheek.
Austin, you don't strike me as the type that would get a tattoo.
Definitely not on my butt cheek, and definitely not of a number that has no significance to me. I wish her the best of luck, though.
You get the Harley J. Earl trophy, maybe, as a tattoo?
Perhaps. It hasn't happened yet. Probably won't.
Well, we had the red flag out for 20 minutes. It has been taken away. Look at this, our camera guys. Oh, he's taking a nap. We got to get back to it. We're going racing after this. Welcome back to the Menards 200 on FS1, and this incident right here is why we were under red for nearly 20 minutes. But that has been cleaned up. Cars are rolling. 63 laps to go here at Daytona. Connor Mosak, it's been all about him today. He's led all 17 laps. Jason Kitzmiller in second. Greg Van Alst. Jesse Love shuffled back to 4th, and Gus Dean is his teammate, is right next to him in 5th. Let's get an update on Gus. Heather?
Well, for Gus Dean in that 5th position, underneath that red flag after he shut off the race car, the team told him, do not shut off the car again and do not use low gear. Now, prior to that red flag, he was trying to shut the car off to save fuel, and he actually lost gauges. So he was having issues prior to. So now the team telling him, do not do that again. We cannot afford to have you have an issue here. Now, his crew chief, Kevin Reed Jr., he has a lot of confidence here in Gus Dean. He said he is our best shot to win our 6th consecutive race here as a team with Venturini Motorsports. Another thing he has on his side is this 55 car is the same car that Corey Heim won in 2021 and Harrison Burton in 2018, so they do have that chassis on their side.
Venturini Motorsports is so powerful that all 4 of their race cars that are on track today have all won at Daytona.
That's
a great stat.
It is.
Well, now you got 2 of them lined up together. You know, looking the way when the caution came out, you know, with the 20 car lead in the outside lane, he's not able to really move forward. But now he's got a drafting partner.
Some repairs being done there for Miguel Gomes in the 02. All right, we continue under caution. We promise racing after this. Well, the 18 has led a lot of laps in the ARCA Menards series. You see the different drivers, Ty Gibbs, Riley Herbst, a lot of wins.
He's got 25 wins over the last 3 or 4 years. Sammy Smith, so so exciting last year with 6 wins. Wasn't yet 18 years old, wasn't able to run the full schedule. But once he got of age and he jumped in that Xfinity car, was it Watkins Glen he finished third, had such a great run. I believe it was Watkins Glen.
Yeah, Mark McFarland was the crew chief for all of those wins. He will be bouncing in and out of some of the races this year when William Swalich takes over the reins. He's not of age to run the big tracks, so you have Connor Mosack filling in, and Matt Ross doing a really nice job picking right up where Mark left off.
Yeah, I talked to Matt a couple of times this week, and really bright guy.
I mean, to be a driver and find out that you were able to work a deal to get in the car that is coveted. Everybody wants to be in there because you know it's going to be good. I can only imagine what Connor feels like. I mean, he's a guy who's an open wheel, or he runs the TA2 class. He's a road course guy, and he's just getting into stock cars the last couple of years. Now here he has this opportunity, and he's already led every lap so far today.
Yeah, he's going to be in this car 7 times this year. He's also going to drive the Xfinity Series for Sam Hunt for at least 20 races too. So pretty ambitious schedule. And he was down in New Smyrna running a super late model. Had a top 5 finish a couple nights ago at New Smyrna.
All right, lights are off on the pace car.
Doing some racing now, Jamie.
We are excited. Brayton Laster carrying the Drive for Humanity on board. Laster back in 15th in the 03. Working lap number 20 of 80. Finally coming back to the green flag. Connor Mosack will lead him down.
Pretty big gap there from the 3rd car. We got Gus Dean. I don't know if he was letting somebody in, didn't quite get through the gears or what, but definitely leaves a breakaway here for the first couple of cars. Kind of hurts the outside lane as well.
Yeah, only a couple cars out there in the outside line. You see Kitzmiller trying to side draft and try to stay up with Mosack. Really doing a nice job. He has a great pusher in Jesse Love and the 20 behind him.
And Kitzmiller hasn't let that 18 car get away. See if Andy wants to go help his buddy Jesse Love or stay on the bottom.
Some movement trying to find their dancing partners as you see cars jumping to the outside, cars dropping down to the bottom.
I think Andy let Jesse Love in. I think that was probably prearranged, because that's one of the guys that the Venturini guys mentioned that they like to race with is Andy J. That he put a lot of trust in him. He let Jesse in.
So he's closing up in that outside lane. He's Frankie Muniz. He's closing that gap, and he's going to gain a lot of spots just by committing to that outside lane. So that was a good move.
Going to drive up behind the 6 of Jack Wood. Jack all the way from the back of the pack
and
at the start of this race.
Too.
Yeah.
Jason Kitzmiller, I feel like every time he's in the field at these super speedway races, he does a really nice job running up front right now from Maysville, West Virginia.
Tell you what, he was holding on to that front row for the entire lap with no help. It was pretty impressive. And now he's finally got some help. See what he can do with it.
All right, Greg Van Alsten, the 35, is right where he wants to be. He's got some help around him, but he's all about trying to beat the Venturini cars. Amber Balkin in the 15. Trying to find her dance partner. She has Tony Breidinger right behind her in the 55.
That gets Robbie Lyons right, the 42 right in front of Amber.
It's so interesting to walk around the garage, and you only see it really at these style of tracks, but you see groups of drivers talking and making deals, saying we need to work together if any of us have a chance to win. Robbie Lyons, I saw him in a couple different talks. Obviously has a good car, and others saw that as well.
I remember we would come to a place like here at Talladega, and Buddy Baker at the driver's introduction would come and shake hands with everybody. He tried to make friends with the entire field.
Here there may be trouble with Gus Dean. Heather?
I mentioned just before we went green that he was having issues with not turning that engine off. Now it is cutting off on him. He has fuel pressure only at 42, and it jumps to 60. So he's having a little bit of issue with that car cutting in and out right now.
Not good for Gus Dean.
Or anybody behind Gus Dean if that thing was to shut off.
At this point right now, are they spreading the word amongst all the spotters? Hey, there may be an issue with the 55. Just be heads up.
There we saw the 03 of Brayton Laster right behind Gus Dean. He's the one that needs to get that information right away.
The tough part for Gus, you know, he wants to stay in the pack, because if he has a cutout, you know, he can lose the draft if he's not quick enough. So it's like you said, it's very social. You know, even between the spotters, you know, between the drivers, it's who do I work together, but the drivers only getting information from one person. It's who they have on the roof. And I tell you what, Kitzmiller is holding that outside. He hasn't lost any ground to the 18. Talk about the dominance of that car. Those guys on the 97 car got to be pretty proud of that.
He's got a great crew chief calling the shots. Shane Huffman was brought in. The original crew chief was under the weather, but they brought Shane in, a multi-time winner here in the series.
Sean Corr on the outside in the 8, getting up to Kitzmiller. These two work well together.
A lot of these drivers really using their head right now. Don't need to do a whole bunch of pushing and gouging and shoving. Not even halfway yet.
Calm down a little bit since the beginning.
And Gus Dean in the 25 now has brought it down pit road.
Gus ran 4 times last year in this car with Venturini's. Top 5 finishes every single race. Really, really solid.
Has 4 scheduled races this year as well. He knows what it takes to get to victory lane at a super speedway. He did it at Talladega.
He told us earlier today that he said, I'm doing something I've never had to do before. He said, I'm waiting for my wife to get here. He just got married a few months ago.
Sean Corr, I mentioned in the 8, started in the back of the pack, so has done a really nice job working his way through up into the 5th spot right now.
So Jesse's starting to do some pushing. This is really kind of the first dirty air Jesse's really had. So he's talking about guys trying to learn what to do. You know, how can you influence a lane? Meanwhile, you got Kitzmiller with a really big push off the 8, getting clear onto the bottom, and he's getting really far out in front.
I was going to say, is he too far ahead?
He's a little far ahead.
Line. I don't care what happens up top. You paint that yellow line.
Sounds like Timmy Fiedel. He wants his guy on the line. I don't know who's Timmy spotting, but he wants him on the line.
Yeah, he said that line is your friend. Paint that line.
Well, you asked, you shall receive. Jamie, what's the update?
Well, it is definitely Tim Fiedel up there in the bird stand for him. And he told me before the race that they were just going to ride that bottom as long as they possibly could. That's why he wants to get him back down low. And one of the reasons is because at the end of this race that, you know, anything can happen up until those final laps. And they want to keep themselves in a position. They're telling him, just be cool, race your own race. Don't let them fluster you. So he's trying to keep his head on straight right now.
And Austin Cindric looking like one of those spotters right now. He's up here with with his binoculars, seeing what's going on. And you see the 3rd car in the outside lane, the number 30. That is Frankie Muniz. He's come alive here as we've gotten under green for the 3rd time.
Agent Cody Banks is on a mission trying to get to the front of the field.
They have had a little contact.
We're hearing that the 42 of Robbie Lyons may have made contact with Dale Quarterly. You see, that's behind the orange car. That 4 car is Quarterly.
Oh, see, pushing through the tri-oval.
Yep.
Pushing through a tri-oval.
Looks like Quarterly got into the back of Robbie Lyons is what happened.
Yeah, pretty tough to get a good push done through there, especially when you're moving that much.
Eric Mandia, our producer, said right in the Quarterly panel. Nice. I like what you did there.
Love that.
All right, the 25, Gus Dean, a 2-lap penalty has been given to that team for fueling under green. You can only fuel under caution in this series.
I imagine they're just trying to diagnose whatever issue they have as the leaders have to cut through a very slow car. Holy cow.
It's like Brad Smith maybe in the 48 car, but he's doing a nice job of staying out of the way.
Yeah, he had enough of that one.
Outside, clear.
See what happened with Amber Balkin right here, riding on board the Icon onboard camera.
Oh, bit of a stack there, and like I said before, it's hard to see about in front of really the car in front of you. All you're reading is General Tire waving in front of you the entire time, and obviously that gap closed up really quick, and Dale Quarterly is just in the middle of all the action.
But Amber did a nice job of hitting him square, though. If she was to off center, either way, it could have caused a problem, but she hit him dead square.
Meanwhile, Jason Kitzmiller has taken over the lead, just the 2nd different leader so far.
That's a strong car, that 97 car for Kitzmiller. That's the team owned by Cody Robaugh, Truck Series owner as well.
He's doing exactly what Timmy told him, paint that line. He's got a good car behind him too, so I think that's made it a bit harder for that outside lane to really close up on these guys.
And I like that advice. Paint that line. It doesn't matter what happens in the outside. If they get a run and get by you, so be it. Just paint that double yellow line, and you're not going to be too far off.
Well, that 2-lap penalty that was assessed to the 25 no longer because he has gone behind the wall.
Hang on to it. Just give it up.
Looked like Frankie got into the back of Jack Wood there a little bit.
Yeah, they were all stacked up on top of each other. That was good accident awareness, because that could have been a lot worse with a push coming from behind. And yeah, Frankie backed out of it and lived to fight another day.
He's getting all the action he can take. We're not even at the half point of this race yet.
He's living the dream he asked for, that's for sure.
I love that video we showed at the very top of the show when he 20 years ago, when his eyes were really big. His eyes are really big right now, too.
We've got a big run. Jack Wood wants to take it.
Still hole cover the middle. Keep the
Sean
middle cover
Corr said, no thanks. You stay right behind me.
No,
got a lap car here.
Car needs to stay down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that's not going to end well.
Jesse Love trying to hold on to it.
Jesse Love.
Big impact there.
Got the 27 of Tim Richmond hard into the wall. We're under caution for the third time.
That's a big hit for Tim Richmond. I don't think Jesse Love got any contact there, but yeah, hopefully he's all right.
That lap car needs to stay right against that double L line, and it kept wobbling off a half a car width, and that's just too much here. This racetrack isn't that wide, and these guys going by him so fast.
Well, we saw the right way to do it when you're being lapped and the wrong way.
A little splitter damage there.
Yeah, a little damage to the left front corner and some flat tires, obviously, for Jesse Love.
That's probably where the splitter damage came from with the flat tires, because I don't think he hit anything. But yeah, that like you said, that lap car really caused, and the speed differential was massive between the slower vehicle, and these guys just don't quite know where to go. The communication quite isn't there. Some people aren't quite aware on the outside what's happening. Tell you what, Sean Corr getting clear down here was really tight.
Yeah, that's A.J. Moyer in the 06.
And I think Jesse Love must have lifted, seeing how close that was, and he just got run over from behind. So hard to communicate that as quick as they came up on that lap car.
And Tim Richmond, family-run team, worked so hard for it, worked his way up to 12th, and now significant damage to that 27. The impact right here.
It might have been Andy J. maybe that got in the back of Jesse.
Yeah, no, it's just definitely a stack up there with everybody trying to shift lanes and get single file. This should be a great visual here with the Menards Richmond on board with Jesse Love. Yeah, so he had the lift there a little bit.
Yeah, and it was just a nudge. I think just a nudge maybe by Andy J.
And there you hear those tires going flat. And that's at the toughest point in the corner. I mean, when you're coming out of turn 4, you saw it during the duels, you see it on Sunday, you saw it last night in the truck race. I mean, that is one of the toughest handling spots of the racetrack just because it's the tightest corner.
Another look at it here. Yep, Andy J. just behind the 20. Coming in, I would say Jesse Love was probably the favorite.
Oh, yeah, he's not out of it by a long shot. Yeah, he's going to be fine.
Well, we'll see how good the car really is. He's been up front the whole race. He's been in the top 4.
Hate that for Tim Richmond, though.
Yeah, it's a tough deal.
Tim Richmond had a great race going last year. Was he top 5 at the end of the race?
With like less than 5 laps to go and ran out of gas.
They wanted another shot at it, but not going to be today. Another look here. What happened with the 20. Jesse Love brought out our 3rd caution for today. Big impact for Tim Richmond. Welcome back to Daytona's pit stops underway. We had quite a few cars come to pit road, mixing up the strategy perhaps a little bit.
Yeah, this gets them in their window where they can make it now from here. Again, we were going to have a competition caution at around lap 40, but they will, however they came down pit road, they will leave pit road and restart this race in that same spot. So nothing really to lose, and they definitely can make it on fuel from here.
I think this also helps Jesse Love too, because that brake will come out, and if they didn't get their damage fixed now, they'll be able to get it fixed for the last 40 laps of the race.
I like that though. You can fuel, you can put tires on as long as it's under caution, but now there's that decision to make. Do you come in at around lap 40?
And if there's something wrong with your car, it certainly gives you the option to come back in at lap 40. Still picking up some debris on the racetrack, but
well, let's take a look at today's Sioux Chief fast track driver, Jack Wood. There's his stats there. 22 years old from Loomis, California. Made the big move himself 2 years ago to Charlotte, North Carolina to live his dream. Ran in the ARCA Menards series last year, and now he has moved up to the Truck Series part-time for KBM.
Yeah, he will be the anchor driver for KBM in that 51 truck. Obviously, we'll see Kyle Busch in that truck as well. He will run Las Vegas, will be his first attempt. Actually, he's going to run all 3 races at Las Vegas. He's going to drive for Kaulig in the Xfinity Series.
Yep, Kyle Busch will do triple duty, going back to the Xfinity Series, out of retirement, as he called it. But Jack Wood, I can't imagine driving for somebody better than Kyle Busch and being able to lean on him and get all of that knowledge. Cleanup continues. We will get back to racing after this. Lots of kids in the infield. A great crowd here at Daytona International Speedway. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by General Tire. General Tire delivers the freedom to explore. And by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's, not sorry. Well, I mentioned going to break. What a great crowd. I mean, this infield is absolutely packed. Sold out campers. I think every parking spot has been taken. And we've got a lot of people in the stands taking in this doubleheader here today. Of course, the Xfinity Series coming up later this afternoon following our race. Let's get an update on pit road, Jamie.
Sean Corr leading this race right now. His spotter just telling him, we need you to keep leading up until about that 40 lap mark. They have not come to pit road yet, but you see the front of that car. He had an accident in qualifying. They had to put a new nose on it. So there was a little bit of an unknown coming into this race, know how it was going to respond. You see that little piece of yellow tape right above that Chevy logo. They didn't have any more yellow vinyl, so they actually went down to Michael McDowell. They loaned him a piece of vinyl so he could get that stripe going all the way down the front end. But just a great story. This is his 14th year racing at Daytona, and he took a moment to reflect on it this morning. He said, this is pretty cool. You know, I remember back when we didn't have full fields here. Now I've got all of these kids wanting to chase the same dream that I am. So it's great to see him out front.
That's great. I like it. The leader right now, Cara's, well, he has a little bit of character.
That's right.
But so far, been clean today.
And his family owns a bus company in Long Island, or on Long Island. And there's times when he has to jump in a bus and drive a school bus.
I love that story. Hey, there's a school bus driver shortage. All of us who have kids know that.
And his mom will drive one as well.
And he jumps in and takes the kids to and from school. Love it. Now he's out here leading the ARCA Menards Series race.
Can't relate.
I know, Austin. You have a while. You just worry about... You just worry about you. Trust me. Your life is changed forever.
You ain't kidding, count on that. Ooh, lights are down on pace car. We're racing again. I'm standing up.
All right, we are waiting for the field to line up properly.
How about the car in second place,
That's
Jamie?
exactly where I was going here. Christian Rose, a former Division I pitcher for the University of Maryland. His dream has always been to race, and he has gone in full force, changed teams. He's with AM Racing now, and it is showing. We talked to him this morning. He is jacked up. He's like 6'4", and he's out here now running a stock car and living the dream. Well, as they come out of turn 2, let's get a quick update with Heather.
And Tim Richmond released from the care center right now. A big impact for you there. It looked like they kind of got bottled up in front of you. What happened from your perspective?
Yeah, a lot of aggressive driving. Looked like the 20 got turned. I haven't fully watched replay, but I knew I had cars to my outside, being on the inside lane there. So tried to get down, but just didn't work out for us.
Well, glad to see you're okay.
Yeah, I feel great. I feel terrible for my guys. They worked hard all weekend on this car, so hopefully get pieced back together and see it Talladega.
All right, tough break there for Tim Richmond, who's out early, guys.
Good attitude, and hate to see that happen. That car pretty much destroyed. Sean Corr, your leader right now, the third different leader of the day.
It's only going to be a short little run to this to the mid-race break in a couple laps.
A scheduled caution, kind of like a competition caution. No positions gained on pit road when they bring that caution out at or around lap 40. They can bring it down and work on the car for 3 minutes, take fuel, take tires, whatever you want, or you could stay out on the racetrack.
We're going to see a lot of them stay out on the racetrack. Just about everybody that pitted on lap 33 will stay out on the racetrack.
Christian Rose, we talked about on the outside.
A couple of new leaders here. See how they handle the restart. to jump by the 8.
Clear by 1.
I think the outside's a bit more organized. Got a good push coming already from Kitzmiller. I bet you Kitzmiller wants that lead back after losing it there.
Robbie Lyons in the orange car, second in line on the inside line.
Get Robbie Lyons and Sean Cord. They're only 2 cars that did not come down pit road yet in this race.
And that's good information because, whoa, big push. It's good information. Who was that? Robbie Lyons was getting a big push delivered from Mosack. And that's one of the first times Mosack, I said it earlier with Jesse Love in the field, that's one of the first times he's had, you know, dirty air on the nose, having to be the pusher. As we see Rose getting a pretty good side draft. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he pitted back on lap number 18, so that's a little bit early to even get in the window. So more than likely, he will have to come to pit road. Well, he more than likely will do it at the break, but he may grab the lead first.
Leading to Daytona, how about that? Baseball to Daytona. Dirt to Daytona, baseball to Daytona.
Yeah.
West Virginia Tourism is his sponsor and has a really beautiful paint scheme. It's white on top, blue on the bottom, but they have the scenics of West Virginia, the trees, and they did a really nice job. Hard to see going 190 miles an hour, but he leads them.
He told me the last pitch he ever threw in his collegiate career was right here in Daytona Beach, and he said he was a closer, and it was a walk-off home run by the other players.
Heartbreaker.
But he told me about it, so that was nice.
But you know, that was back in 2018, and he also said that day he looked over at Daytona International Speedway and he just knew this is his calling. And for him to be here, you know, he gives a lot of credit to BJ McLeod, who runs full-time, owns a team in the Cup Series, who really helped him find his way to get here today. And to see him up there leading, he's a brand new dad, had a baby boy named River just 5 weeks ago leading this. I'm sure his wife and baby are so proud at home right now.
And he told me how much help Brett Moffitt has been to him as well.
AM racing driver,
Exactly.
yes. Kind of been like a driver coach
That's
to him,
right.
and what a difference a year makes.
He's doing a great job covering that bottom lane, and the outside lane's gotten formed up again. Kitzmiller, we talked about that. That car does look really fast, and he's been able to pull this outside lane back up to the outside of Rose and challenge for the lead here, because you know whoever's in the lead here at this 40-lap break is going to be able to control the next restart.
Be too close to call right now. You see Amber Balkin third in line, that white and red car on the outside. She really has done a nice job.
The 35 car has been a pretty good pusher.
Good push by Greg Van Alst. I'm sure they will let the entire field get by.
How about Amber Balkin? Incredible. Start at 37, and we've got a car around. That is the 7 of Eric Caudell, and the yellow flag is in the air exactly on lap 40, so they will have the option to pit here. This will be our scheduled caution.
Doesn't appear to be much damage to Eric's car. You hate that happen, though. You knew the caution was going to come out.
Eric Caudell, he was 19th at the time.
Kind of an interesting place to spin on the racetrack. I don't know if he maybe bailed out of the gas early and got hit from behind or what, but probably take 4 tires and try again.
Take a look here at what exactly happened, Eric Caudell.
Probably top of the screen, I would think.
Oh, he's getting a push there from the, I think it was the 55. Went for a bit of a ride through the grass. Yeah, just pushing through the tri-oval, you're going to have a bad time. Just not recommended 40 laps into the race, but it's good that he didn't get any contact there. But yeah, it's a hard place to take a push just because the car's, it's not heavily loaded into the banking like you would be in the corner, and the car obviously isn't straight because you're in the middle of a turn. So it's kind of the worst of both worlds.
And 18-degree banking, as a driver, it seems flat.
100%. It seems flatter than the straightaways because you just have no feeling in the car.
Not too often you see a wreck like that at Daytona that doesn't collect anybody else. So nice job by him. And like you said, looks like the car isn't hurt too bad. So Jason Kitzmiller, 97, your leader right there. Just 2 cars that have not pitted yet today. Greg Van Alst second, Christian Rose third. We'll see who pits when we come back. Well, we talk about celebrities who like racing. Frankie Muniz isn't the first one. Paul Newman, legend. Jason Priestley, 90210 fans, he was a hardcore racer. Patrick Dempsey, pretty darn good on the road course. And there he is, Frankie Muniz in the number 30, running 19th right now. Worked his way up there, as high as 7th. Doing a nice job. He's been bumped around, pushed around. He's pushed back a little bit, getting a little bit of everything right.
He's been in the middle, as
Yes.
Austin said.
Austin has been waiting all week to say that.
The entire week. Life's made. Speed Weeks is great.
Yes, Malcolm has been in the middle. Save us here, Jamie.
Well, he almost did us all a favor and qualified right in the middle, which would have been the 17th spot, but he qualified 16th. So just put all of the jokes aside right now. You know, we talked about how he is getting what he signed up for. He's getting the full Daytona experience. It's the bumper cars that he wanted to experience. And what that's really done is brought his nerves down a little bit. Talked about his heart rate early on. That's starting to fall a little bit. He's kind of settling into this race. We're in the second half now. He can settle down, calm down, and just put his head down, Heather.
And Christian Rose, we saw him leading that race there, and we just got a cool text message from his mom, somebody here that's a part of his team, saying that she was crying and in tears seeing her son lead the race, and his sister came in the room and she said, "Mom, what happened? Did he wreck?" And she said, "No, she's leading," and his sister just couldn't believe it. And you guys mentioned it, Christian Rose, he said this is the best race car he's ever had at a super speedway. This is the most comfortable he has felt. He came over the radio after leading, and he also said, "Guys, I have a rocket ship here. This is amazing." He is just so incredibly happy to have this opportunity right now.
I love the energy all around, Heather. I mean, that whole team. And you saw that beautiful paint scheme I was talking about, all the trees. I mean, what they can do with these paint schemes is just unreal. But yes, very exciting for Christian Rose. There it is. Led 2 laps so far today. We'll see if he can work his way back up as they continue working, giving him a little drink right there.
I love hearing those stories too. That's what makes this stuff so special, especially at this level when you're doing everything you can just to get here. And yeah, hear about mom crying. I mean, we're halfway through the race. I mean, let's go. Let's try and win this thing. I mean, Sean Corr's going to have to work his way back up to the front. We talked about biggest movers. He's going to have to do it again from staying out of that break. So interested to see how he and Christian progress through the field here.
Well, now that we're at the halftime in this race so far, reminder that you can vote starting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Head over to the ARCA Menards Series Twitter and Facebook pages at ARCA_racing, and you can vote on what moment you think was today's sweet move of the race. We've had some incredible saves so far. You guys have a favorite so far?
Well, I kind of like the one when Frankie was in the middle. Truthfully, that was a nice save. He got beat on from both sides, so that might be my early favorite.
Okay.
I think we're yet to see it. We've yet to see the sweet move of the race.
Yeah, I agree.
Coming up.
Something tells me, yes, exactly, that it's about to get better. And we've got trouble on pit road as you see other cars coming on down. Looks like that's the 7 of Eric Caudell. He's got some issues as they try to push him back to pit road. Remember, he had that issue. He spun all by himself.
Oh, no, that's a fuel man.
And it is right there. Eric Caudell with issues. They're going to take a closer look at it. We're going to step aside. Just one more sleep. Tomorrow, it's the 2023 NASCAR regular season. It gets underway right here for the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Coverage starts at 2:30 Eastern. Pre-show race day starts at 1. That's on Fox and the Fox Sports app. And we take a look back at 1 year ago. This was the moment. Keep your eye on that too. The battle down to the checkered flag to change his life. Austin Cindric. What a moment that was.
Best day of my life. I got to see you down there too.
That was so much fun. You know,
cool.
that is the highlight when you're a reporter, is getting to share in those moments. It was special for you, special for us, and get to try to do it again tomorrow, starting 6th, right?
That's right. I'm pumped. I think we got a great race car, great discount tire Ford. And in 40 laps, somebody is going to have another big moment here. Let's see who shows up in the last 40.
Almost contact right there with Kitzmiller and Van Alsten at 35 on the outside.
How about Amber Balkin doing such a great job, running 3rd right now inside, 2nd row in that red and white car.
And she started back in the back. I mean, she's methodically made her way up back to the front. She's in the top 3 with no pit stops left in the race. I think she's in a great position to be able to make something of this opportunity.
She has a really good race car.
How about that red number 68? That's Gage Rogers. We haven't talked about him at all. Really doing a super job.
That's what's so great about this style of racing. You never know the names that are going to shuffle. We have trouble. Connor Mosack
Big name through the grass.
goes around, our pole
Rolling
sitter.
here, now rolling straight. There's nothing coming up back. Get out of the grass. It's wet. Keep rolling it out of the grass.
Little four-wheel action there.
They're going to have to get the grass out of the grill of that car for sure.
Yeah, Connor was running in the 7th spot. I don't see a lot of damage, so get in, put some tires on it.
Have to imagine that's got to be from contact from behind there.
Yeah, I would think so. That's Matt Ross, the crew chief.
Well, this was the first time really he's been back in traffic. It's been only a handful of laps that he's really had to run back there. He led the first 25 laps of the race. Let's see what happened.
Everything's happening around Dale Quarterly today. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
that was a 4-car Dale Quarterly. I think he pushed Connor, got him a little bit sideways.
Ooh, some air.
And then took a little momentum out of Connor. Then he hit him harder, but Connor did a great job keeping that car straight and straight through the grass instead of turning sideways through there.
And getting through it, not getting stuck, because you heard him say it's wet. It rained here last
That's
night.
great heads-up info by the spotter there, too. Wet grass, being able to get in and out.
Yeah, keep it going.
Really fortunate the valence on that car didn't get ripped off. Should be in good shape as long as they can get all the... I mean, that's a ton of grass that car went through. I mean, that thing's going to be chucking chunks of turf everywhere for the next 20 laps.
Well, the landscape crew around here has done an incredible job, but I don't think they're going to have to mow that area for a while. Wow.
Yeah, Connor made it to pit road. Here, look at all that grass you were talking about.
Jamie's there.
And they're going to take a little bit of extra time to get a good look at it. The balance is kicked up just a little bit, probably from bouncing back onto the racetrack. They thought the right side tires were going to be good, but they did go ahead and switch those out as well as cleaning out all of that grass. But they want to send him so they don't go a lap behind the field and see what it looks like out on the racetrack.
See a lot of grass under the windshield there too, and the dash of the car, flying in through the window net. I mean, your window's not closed. It's not like you're in a street car. I mean, you're open to the elements, and Jamie pointed out on the screen, there's grass all inside the car. I bet his fire suit's covered in grass. It looks like he's been mowing all day.
I was just going to say that a lot of times when you guys climb out of your cars after a race, any race, short track or super speedway, you're completely dirty, whether it's grass or just dirt, rubber collects inside that car when you're driving.
Just makes it look like we're actually working in there.
The teams do all they can to keep that stuff out of the car, but as Austin mentioned, with an open window like that, there's no way to keep it all out.
How about Greg Van Alst? Oh, the pizza man! Look at that helmet.
Talk about pizza now. This young man loves pizza. That's why he has a pizza helmet.
So he's got Andy on speed dial, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Brayton Laster.
That's a match made in heaven.
What a helmet. Well, you're good now, Austin. You got your pizza. You even shared some with Phil.
I did.
That was very nice.
Sharing is caring.
Yes.
That is the difference about being on pit road as a reporter versus up here. You get lights. You get, people that put lipstick on for you. And you get food.
Controlled temperature.
Controlled temperature.
I did the drivers only race last year, and you ain't got none of that down there. mad respect for our pit reporters. This is way comfier.
Well, you should have been in a booth then, see?
Well, I don't have the credentials to be in the booth for that race.
Oh, yes, you do. Oh, yes,
Austin
you do.
was hilarious. He brought his own little lunch with like peanut butter and jelly. He sat on pit wall and just ate before we went racing. Continue working on Connor Mosack's cars. He went for a wild ride here and brought out our caution for the 5th time. Welcome back to the Menards 200 on FS1. Under caution here for the 5th time. We got Greg Van Alst leading the field, and behind him is the 2 of LeVar Scott. Now he's making his first start here for Rev Racing at Daytona International Speedway, and this story of Rev Racing, what they've done for the diversity program. They work hand in hand with NASCAR. There's a Drive for Diversity program where they see a lot of their drivers and they pick and choose who they want. Last year it was Nick Sanchez, Raja Caruth. Let's look at some of the alumni before those gentlemen last year. I mean, it's been very impressive what Max Siegel has been able to do. Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, just kind of good. Those guys just kind of good. They moved up.
All Cup Series winners, too.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's a long list of people. As you mentioned, we've already graduated Nick Sanchez, Raja Caruth from the ARCA Menards Series last year into the Truck Series. So It's amazing what Max Siegel and his folks have done. A little bit over 10 years for this program now. It's amazing the talent that they brought into the sport.
A concerted effort out of Indiana, doing a great job. Jamie, what are they saying?
Well, after spending some time with LeVar Scott this morning, I can imagine that when he goes back and watches this broadcast and sees that graphic mentioned in the same breath as his name, he's going to feel pretty proud. You saw the name Kyle Larson on there, and that was one person that he really looks up to. He said, we grew up racing the exact same equipment. I've seen what he's been able to do with this program, and to know that there's a place that I can go, he said he is definitely an idol of mine. Nick Sanchez was watching the race from his pit box earlier on, and for LeVar, he said this is just a dream come true. He's going to run the full East schedule, do a few races over here. It's depending on sponsorship and the scheduling, and it's yet to be decided, but he's not going to waste anything that he's given this season.
And LeVar Scott, he started off dirt racing, so it's just been a few years now that he's been running on asphalt. So a lot of help from Kyle Larson and those who've come from a similar background. So before we go green here again, who are you two watching?
Well, look at Greg Van Alst. He's been up at the front of this race the entire race, as well as Kitts Miller. But Greg's car looks a bit unstable, but he's quick. And he's been able to pull whatever line he's in through, whether if he's the pusher or the leader. So we'll see what he's able to do to make the right moves to hold the lead. I think LeVar, this is probably the first time he's had clean air on his nose. So how does he manage the lane? How does he take that pressure? And I still think you got to look at Jesse Levin and other cars like that they're going to have to make their way up through the field that have been up front most of this race.
I like Kitts Miller. I like the way that car's been. It's been really, really fast. He's doing a great job running up now in the 3rd spot.
See what the 35 can do with the lead here.
Evans should start coming back to you. 44 did not get a good start for the 2. So 97 is hanging off you about half 3/4.
15 has slipped back quite a bit. Amber Balkan needs to close up a little bit on that inside line.
The new face at the front of the field is the 44, Jason White. First time he's really been up inside the top 3. LeVar's going to have a nice run down the back straightaway, be able to take the lead going into turn 3, as the bottom lane's still struggling to get formed up there with the 15 and the 55.
And that's Jason White from Canada in the 44 car. We had both Jason Whites in the field last night for the truck race. Virginia's Jason White as well as Canada's Jason White.
I like how you call the other Jay White.
Jay White, yes.
Just so there's no confusion.
Oof. Dale's still hanging on to that thing back there. Got both lanes organized now. See Frankie's back in the mix here. Made his way back up through the field.
Jesse's trying to make the 3rd lane work up there. Doesn't have a lot of help up there right now.
3 wide.
I think I'd jump in behind that 20 car because people should know how fast it is.
Absolutely.
You see the 11 Hageberg. He's going to try to jump in behind Jesse.
Jesse spun earlier, had a little bit of damage. They were able to work on it.
Look at this momentum he's going to have here when he gets to the corner.
3 will go to the top lane. He's 2 in front of you if you need to.
He's making hay up there.
He's right behind Frankie Muniz now in the 30, the black and white number 30.
He's still looking. You see that white car.
He's going to have a tough time with not a single car behind him. He's got a big gap. Not going to be able to pull off 3 wide by himself.
He may get a car in front of him that pulls out.
Down.
If they see him coming now, he's going to jump down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Dale Quarterly, that number 4 right there. He's been involved in a lot of incidents, but the car looks good, and here he is still running in the top 10.
Kitts Miller got hung in the middle.
Look at that rate of speed.
Hold your line.
Oh, gosh. Not looking good here on the apron.
Looked like the 55 of Tony Breidinger with issues.
Tell you what, she did a great job saving that car, entering full throttle on the apron.
And it looks like something's wrong with her car.
Yeah, no, it looks like Kitts Miller
has a flat tire or some smoke of some sort for some reason.
It felt like I saw a few laps ago they had a little smoke coming out of the exhaust, but
55 of Breidinger looked like she was bouncing all around, kind of looked like Connor Daly the other night.
It's really rough down there on the apron, which is why that re-entry was probably as impressive as what it was.
And all the rest of the field avoiding her as well.
See how that's broken apart everyone as well. Got a nice big pack going into 1, and by the time you got out of 4, pretty broken apart.
That's Frankie Muniz in the 30, Amber Balkan in the 15 as they pull up on Van Alst in the 35.
I would love to know what Frankie Muniz is thinking right now, running where he is in that front pack. And we've got a caution out for the 6th time today. I'm told there's debris on the racetrack. There it is. The 97 of Jason Kitzmiller you saw going backwards. Expect him to come down. It looked like he may have cut a tire.
How about LeVar Scott leading this race here? We just talked about him a few moments ago. Now he has the lead with 25 to go.
This young man, this 19-year-old, talking to LeVar Scott this morning. I mean, he just couldn't stop smiling. It was like he was in awe that he was here. He's worked so hard for this moment, and now he's leading the field.
Doing a fantastic job.
I had mentioned Toni Breidinger. She had dropped down. It's a nice save. Let's see what happened to her.
She's after the 97 got shuffled to the middle, and there's a big run coming from the bottom. And I think she just got pushed out of line, and she's still just getting pushed and pushed and pushed. And at that point, you have to just look straight out the windshield and hold your hand straight. So she did exactly the right things in that situation. Probably wasn't able to handle that first push, knocked her out of line, and all the cars did a good job coming behind as she had to re-entry from the apron.
She did a great job of keeping that car with her left sides on the double yellow line, giving those other cars
there. You see that left front tire come off the ground?
Giving those cars room to get by her. She did a really nice job.
That was a really good point of how rough it is. You know, on TV, a lot of times when people are watching, it just looks like smooth. You just gas down, turn it left, but you realize when you come to a track like this, we talk about how handling is such a critical thing, and you saw it right there, how rough it is. You get out of line, you drop below that yellow line. That was a wild ride. Heather.
And Toni just said, she said, I don't know what I could have done differently there. She said, I dropped down to the apron because I did not want to take out Amber Balkin, her teammate right in front of her. She also said that the 4 behind her was pushing her really hard, so she had to let out of the throttle a little bit. And she said, guys, sorry about that, but I just wasn't quite sure what to do. Jamie?
You said you wanted to know what Frankie Muniz was thinking. Well, he just had a conversation over the radio where he said, let's go win this race. His excitement, his emotion has turned into optimism now. But they said, remember how long it took to run that first 20 laps? Well, we have more than that to go, so we still need you to settle down.
I love it. He's jacked up. He's thinking about the big picture. Like, we're up here, we're in contention, our car is good, let's go.
Pumped. He can see it. I'd like to know what happened to the 97 here, because he was really solid all race, got a good car under him, and now in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, he had led 14 laps.
Initially thought it might have been a flat tire, but it wasn't, because he kept going until the caution came out.
Jamie?
Well, he's in a conversation right now with his team, but he said that he had such a good run coming off of turn 2. He didn't want to use the brake, but he had so much tire rub. He has some damage on the left front. He has damage on the left rear, so they've got a lot to address here on this pit stop, but certainly not the way they wanted the second half to go.
Sounds like he had a run and then made contact with somebody, and that's where that smoke was coming from, was from a rub, not a flat tire, just a tire rub.
Well, good thing for him, he was able to make it all the way around to get it patched up. See what he can do here.
He's going to need all 24 laps to get back to the front.
Yeah.
That car's been pretty quick today. Tell you what, the man we need a camera on the entire rest of this race is the number 4 car. That man wants to go to the front. You said he's 62 years old, Phil?
Yeah, 62. He's the oldest driver in the field.
And he wants to win this thing, man. He's been on the gas. I mean, he's delivering some pushes, but it's been entertaining to watch, that's for sure.
Well, we heard about the excitement that Frankie was saying and conveying to his team on the radio. Do you think we should dial him up, Phil?
Let's try it. Let's see if we can get him. Hey, Frankie, it's Phil Parsons and the folks up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
We're talking here. Give me 1 second.
Got to walk him through some things. Good time to check in with the driver, tell him what he needs to be thinking about.
Yeah, we certainly don't want to interrupt strategy or anything like that. And again, Frankie's so new at this. And
we got to spin under caution.
10 car.
Ed Pompa.
It's trying to figure out his re-entry plan here. Oh,
that was not the right one.
That was.
Ooh. Didn't look like he had any damage to the car until that moment.
Oh, now we stalled. He'll get it figured out.
Let's see what happens here. There he is.
I have no idea how that would have happened.
You think maybe came out of the pits and then caught up with the field and was going too fast.
Jumped on the brakes. Yeah. That's a new one. Oh my! I still don't know what happened.
Just went right. You really get a feel for the banking, how severe the banking is when he tried to go up.
It's got to be what you said. I mean, it's got to just had to jump on the brakes, but yeah.
So that was what was so impressive about Tony not losing control, because it's flat down there in the 8, but not completely flat. But we talk about how little the banking is on the trial. Well, it's way less than that.
100%.
And she probably would win at 170 miles an hour probably into that corner on the flat.
We got lights off on the pace car.
Lights off on the pace car. 23 laps to go here at Daytona. About to heat up again, gentlemen.
I'm excited. We still got a chance at more pizza after the race. Andy J.
Doing a great job.
The outside, front row.
How about Jason White? We talked about him a moment ago in the 44 car up in the 4th spot.
Frankie Muniz, 5th.
Yeah, Jack Wood from the back.
Push coming from the 4, Jack. Can promise you.
Be ready.
And Amber Balkan in 7th.
I think we'll have a good little finish here. I'll tell you what, one thing we talked about before the race was Venturini dominance at Daytona, and we just haven't seen it today. We've seen them have fast cars, but there's been a lot of players up at the front of the field, also a lot of cautions, but it's been pretty fun to watch who can do what at the lead.
We haven't seen a Venturini car lead the race yet. I mean, they know how to find their way to victory lane, and when it counts, we'll see what happens here. LeVar Scott leads them. Andy Jankowiak in the outside.
Both leaders get out pretty far in front. The bottom lane is going to be a bit more organized here. See if they get LeVar clear.
Frankie pulls up to the back of Greg Van Alst on that bottom line.
And this team on the inside line, they were one of those groups talking, making plans in the garage to work together. Now they finally found one another.
Frankie delivered a nice little bump draft to the back of the 35.
Jesse Love up to the 8th spot right now, that white and blue car, number 20. Looking for a little help. He would love to make it 3 wide if he could, but he can't do it without help.
I like this bottom lane. There's some really good cars lined up here. Looks like Amber was able to get cleared. Del Corley back down to the bottom. And Jay's trying to get that side draft to keep pulling this outside lane forward. Looks like there's more cars bailing to the top lane now. I don't know if that's just from an urgency trying to get back to the front. These cars are kind of reshuffled.
We're going to be about 20 laps to go next time by, so the sense of urgency is ramping up here for sure.
I'd look at a move 3 wide from Jack Wood and Jesse Love. Those guys are experienced and want to get to the front here to control this race.
Amber Balkan, that icon on board, she's on the inside, 4th car in.
That's where the spotters are up on the roof making deals. I'm sure Jesse Love's spotted. Oh.
Amber Balkan.
Good save by Amber.
Contact there. Andy Jankowiak, you see the debris fly off the back of his race car.
I cannot believe we didn't just have a caution.
Wow.
That was a great save by Amber. She looked like she got really loose.
Look at Jason White on the move in the 44 on the outside. Andy J still got issues.
Look at the tire rub.
Caution.
Have a flat tire here.
Yeah.
Caution is out now for the 7th time.
A little bit. Just a little bit here. I'm going to get you down. Lift a little bit. I'm going to get you low when I get a hole. Lift a little bit inside. After him, I'll get you down. Lift a little bit.
It's TJ Majors, you hear? Trying to get his driver down to the bottom of the racetrack so he can come in and they can tape it up, and hopefully he can continue. Seems like he could.
Yeah, it's amazing that, as Austin said, those cars all stayed straight.
It was really good heads-up driving by everyone.
See what happened here. We're at the front of the pack.
So I'm not sure what slowed down the 73, but if you're a little further back, the 15 got pretty free and drifted up into the outside lane and really had everyone check up. And Amber did a great job saving the car. Obviously, she got loose on the bottom.
And we'll go back here a little bit farther.
It's into Jason White here.
There's a 44, Jason White.
So she loses a nose here.
Yeah.
And then overcorrects, gets in the back of the 30 car, gets in the outside lane. I'm still not quite sure how the 73 lost so much speed.
Yeah.
We'll have a good shot here from the onboard.
It was almost two separate incidents.
It's what it seems like.
The contact there with Jason White and Amber Balkan, but the damage right in front of her had already happened.
Did maybe Andy get a little contact from Quarterly after maybe Amber got into Quarterly a little bit?
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's just basically a composite material, though. No metal in that.
See the AMR crew. Multiple pieces of debris out there from Jankowiak. So let's go a little bit earlier in that.
But that's Amber, the 15, the red and white car in the middle.
And where she's going to lose the handle on her car is off of turn 4 here.
Like talk about that, how iffy that is off of turn 4.
Well, it's the tightest corner exit radius, and she's going to get right up to the back of the 30 car. The 30 car also moves. So that's going to take a ton of air off the front of her car at the worst spot in the racetrack, and then she's got to overcorrect to save it, comes back into the 44 car. Meanwhile, I think Andy J was just coming down the racetrack. I don't know if he was trying to block the lane. The 30 car was a bit offset. It was just a bit of a mess, honestly.
I think Frankie had a little contact, and that moved him up into Andy J a little bit. But again, these drivers did an amazing job keeping these cars straight.
Let's get an update on Andy J. James?
Well, unfortunately, he is making his way down pit lane because of the bumper missing from the tail of that car. And they were really looking at the tires. The smoke that we saw right after that contact was just some tire rub. But he said everything felt fine. But while they're coming down pit lane, they are going to go ahead and change that left rear, send him back out there. He doesn't want to go a lap down, so it's going to be a quick adjustment.
They'll work on the 73. You also see the 30 of Frankie Muniz is on pit road. Just pulled into his pit box. You mentioned there may have been some contact there with him and Andy J. They got the bare bond tape out, so certainly going to tape up. We can't see it really from here. Maybe it was.
I think that right front damage there.
Oh,
you see it right there, and I think that's where he made contact.
Got a hole in the nose there, right where the ARCA official's standing. Yeah, right there at right above the headlight.
Yeah.
That's going to be
They need to
really
tape
tough.
that up. It's so critical aero-wise.
It's really soft now too, so it's probably going to cause a tire rub. So it's probably the right move to call him in, but you hate to give up that much track position. He was in such a good spot with only 17 laps to go, but you never know what's going to happen. But it's still a lot of cars left in this race too.
Repairs continuing for Frankie Muniz, Andy Jankowiak.
Now, Phil, do you know if they have to replace that back bumper panel in ARCA on the 73 car?
I think they have to, just on the speedways, I think they have to have the rear panel on there.
Yeah, so they're trying to figure out the best way to. I don't know if you can.
I don't think
make
you
a
make it
bumper
out of tape.
Out of tape.
Or a bare bond.
It's almost like they just got word that they have to have that covered up,
Yeah.
and they don't have backup parts and pieces. Did a quick job of that on the right front for Frankie Muniz. See if that'll hold together at speed.
Pretty good repairs. I wish they would maybe that right in front of the right front tire where that's really flared out like that. I wish they would maybe straighten that out a little bit, but they did a nice job getting that car repaired back on the racetrack.
Maybe they're probably trying to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah.
Maybe come back in, but yeah.
I'm not sure it hit the tire, so I don't think his toe would be off strictly aero-wise.
Oh, you just move that splitter bar a little bit from that contact.
Yeah.
All right, a little race recap. 63 of 80 laps complete.
Caution number 1. 45 car Tony Cosentino. One single car incident.
We got Malcolm in the middle of 3 wide here, saving the car.
Is that a Reese's sweet move nominee, you think, Jamie?
That is definitely a nominee.
Not Scott's favorite moment of the race.
Scott Melton, big fire, so frustrated, such a good car, was running in the top 10. Oh, you see it there. Jesse Love's spin was able to save it pretty well.
Tim Richmond got the bad end of that deal.
Sure did. Hard contact with the inside safety barrier. Thank goodness for the safety barrier.
And he was fine. We heard from him, just a little heartbroken.
Caution right at the end of our 40-lap segment.
That was Eric Caudell that went around.
He seemed to have some other issues and had to retire.
Dale Quarterly in the 4 involved in this one, and that was Connor Mosak.
There's the most recent caution that we're under right now.
Which is really only from debris. Then nobody ever really wrecked.
Yeah, Andy Jay's rear bumper really is what caused the caution. There's 4 or 5 drivers that had a great opportunity to wreck and didn't.
And meanwhile, LeVar Scott continues to lead. Jason White second, Greg Van Alst third. And there's your race summary. 7 different leaders.
You think we're going to have another caution?
I'm willing to bet on it. What do you think?
I would also take that bet.
I would not bet against you. I hope not, but I wouldn't bet against you.
LeVar Scott leads him.
Good little jump by LeVar Scott there, too.
I'd like to see some of our really strong cars from earlier that are now towards the back make their way back up towards the front, like a Jesse Love, Connor Mosak.
Jesse Love, nice job. I mean, he's back up to 6th after that spin.
Yep, Jack Woods up there on the bottom, trying to get himself clear. I know he wants to lead the race here. He's been having to carve his way up to the field the whole time. Push coming from the 4 car. Keep the camera on the guy. He's coming with the speed. 44 car charging the outside lane, taking the lead.
Orderly may have pushed that 44 car to the lead.
Absolutely.
Battle up front, but LeVar Scott in the 2 hanging on to it.
I like the strategy. Stay against the double yellow line, regardless of what that outside line does right now. Stay against that double yellow line.
They're getting a little squirrely.
And they're going, too.
Amber's car just seems a little unstable when she gets that close to the car in front of her. She's running 3rd on the outside. 2nd.
She's probably going to have a much, obviously as a loose car, probably going to have a much better time in the outside lane with the corner radius not being so tight. So I think she's in probably the best spot possible for her to keep the back under it.
Jason White from British Columbia leading this race.
Hell of a push from the 35 car. Pretty much pushed the first 3 cars out clear. Oh!
Contact up high. It's Jack Wood in the 6th. Amber Balkan on the outside, and they're trying to form 3rd, a 4th lane?
I don't know. I think they're trying to avoid carnage right now and keep these cars straight.
I just wonder if she's got a tire going down. A lot of movement.
John Garrett in the 66 in the middle right there.
Go on board with Amber and is on board with Jesse Love in the 20. You see Amber there to the right of the screen.
Oh. Yeah, so that right here, as a driver, I know exactly what that was, because you can still get loose into the corners here. You don't think about it because you're going wide open, but she's putting a wheel input in right as you're going off the crest into the banking, and she got loose in and didn't expect it.
A little bit before the banking was at the full 31 degrees.
So the car is super light, and right when you put a steering motion in, the car got loose and darted right down the racetrack. So that wasn't her trying to turn to the car on the bottom of her. That was totally a loose entry moment she wasn't expecting to have, and that's really separated the field here.
Really has broken up the field. We have what, a 6-car breakaway right now. Really 5 with Robbie Lyons a few car lengths behind Jesse Love.
And they still didn't wreck. That's impressive.
There's Mandy Chick leading that group. That's Sean Core. Here comes Jack Wood, Amber.
Christian Rose in the 32, who led some laps earlier, just getting hung out right now, losing all that momentum. Right next to Amber Balkan, who just lost all her momentum and got shifted out of that pack.
The second pack is coming. If they get formed up well enough, they will catch back up to the leaders.
Get lined up.
But right now they're definitely not getting formed up.
Mandy Chick, very impressive right now, up into the 8th spot.
We might have a tattoo on our hands here.
Oh boy.
Her and her crew.
We might have a lot of tattoos on our hands.
Yeah.
On some butts.
Connor Mosak was our pole sitter, led the most laps today.
You saw a replay of him getting Big move.
Went
Jack
through the
Wood.
grass,
Yeah.
a lot of grass in the grill. They were able to fix him up, and he's already back up to 6th.
Still pushing and shoving here back in the field. Looks like Christian Rose giving a shove to
Robbie
the back of
Lyons.
the 42 car. Yeah, Robbie Lyons. And they're all just trying to get formed up. They don't want to lose this pack. They don't want to lose a chance to be running at the front of this field.
What a glimpse of Logan Mizuraka and the 63 we talked about early in the show, a local driver. There she is right there, that white and orange car with a black roof, doing a really nice job, solid job. Still in contention here, just outside of 10 to go.
Greg Van Alst in the 35 and 3rd right now. Been so impressed with his race car. And you pointed out it didn't look very stable, but it's certainly been fast, and that's been the story all weekend here.
No, Greg's car's been quick, and he's been able to stay at the front of the field because of it. And he's been able to take the runs and obviously give himself some track position and really be part of that breakaway as this second pack still tries to get organized.
Connor Mosack is in the 6th spot. I have to believe that Connor, he is going to be able to catch that pack, and he will have some momentum. Look at him go to the high side with Jack Wood behind him.
Who pulls out to try and cover it? A lot of these guys seem like they're a bit content here to ride, except for Dale. Dale Quarterly doesn't want to. He's thinking about it. He keeps swerving up. He wants to cover it, but I don't think it's enough right now.
I thought Jesse might have moved up there. Those 3 cars would have been a pretty potent combination on the outside line.
Yeah, right now, those 2 cars on the outside are just pulling Jesse Love off the back of this field. And they're probably helping this second pack catch back up, too, with these guys being too wide for as long as they've been.
Well, the 2 cars we were really watching for at the start of this race, the 20 of Jesse Love
just like
and
that.
the 18 of Connor Mosack on the outside, they both had their issues, but they're in contention.
Yep, second pack caught up just like that, and now we're back to one
huge pack.
It's crazy how separated they were with 1 lap ago, and with 2 guys going too wide, it pulled everybody back towards you. And now these guys can go racing.
Dude, Jesse has some body damage, so that car's a little bit off arrow wise. He needs to be in the middle. He needs to have a pusher and a puller.
Jason White in the 44 leading the field at 49 years old. Running second is the 19-year-old LeVar Scott. Heather?
And for Jason White, our leader, this is only his 5th start ever in the ARCA Menards series, and his team right now really just coaching him on what to do and what's going on behind him. But he hasn't said much on the radio the whole race except under caution. He said, hey guys, I feel like I got a target on my back right here with a little bit of trouble behind him.
My goodness.
Greg Van Alst sideways. There goes Dale Quarterly around in the 4. They were getting squirrely. I don't know how Greg Van Alst hung on to it, but Dale Quarterly spins
the maintenance crew is going to be so upset that he just went through the Daytona logo, but no damage.
Yeah, it was Jesse Love that got into Dale Quarterly as they were trying to avoid Greg Van Alst.
That accordion effect. They see something happen ahead of them.
You're just stacked on top of each other, and you can't see it. But like we said earlier, that 35 car's been fast, but it's been a bit unstable, and that was a heck of a save coming off of turn 4.
Yeah, Greg Van Alst was already pushed to the outside. And then Jesse Love's left sides were on the double yellow line.
Yeah, unfortunately for Jesse was trying to basically just hold his car straight because he had a push coming from the 15 as well behind him. So and the 4 was pushing the 35 because he slowed down, and it stacked up everybody behind him.
I tell you, it's been quite amazing, though, that the majority of the incidents we've had have only been single or maybe 2 cars. We haven't had the big one yet, and hopefully we won't.
The icon on board, what Amber Balkin was saying.
That's Jesse down on the apron after he made contact with Quarterly. It's getting a little bit tough to see off of turn 4, it looks like, especially with as much debris is on the windshields.
If we look at the flags, you still are getting a tailwind coming off of turn 4, so it is still definitely the most treacherous conditions you could have for exit of turn 4, and it's even more treacherous when you got 1 or 2 cars pushing you all the way off the corner.
Oh my goodness, look at those marks right through that beautiful grass. It doesn't even look real. The grass is so beautiful, but the crew will go to work tonight. They'll clean it up. But we'll step aside. We're under caution for the 8th time. Who will hang on and bring home the trophy from Daytona? We'll find out after this. Well, we've had some wild moments in this race so far, so let's take a look at our 3 nominees that we have so far.
Malcolm in the middle of 3 wide. So far, one of my favorites, and I've been waiting to say it all week.
And here's the second one. I would call this everybody's safe
This is everybody move.
This
right
is
here.
the best because they didn't wreck.
Yep.
I think everybody did a great job of making this one out of it, and really only debris caution.
There's Jesse Love keeping his car off the wall. Unfortunately, not as fortunate was Tim Richmond. Let's watch the ride Jesse goes through right here. He's fought back his way into the top 5.
Yeah, Jesse Love right now shown as 4th. And remember, you at home, you can vote for which move you think was the Reese's Sweet Move of the race. Just head on over at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning to the ARCA Menards Series Twitter and Facebook pages. That's ARCA_racing. And vote. It's as easy as that. I don't know. We might get another Reese's Sweet Move.
I have to believe, maybe for the win.
I think it's going to be for the win.
Okay.
There's a lot of guys with a lot of skin in the game trying to win this race today.
Going to restart with 4 laps to go. Getting 1 to go now.
Brayton Laster. The Pizza Man. That has been our theme today. Started with Andy J up front, the pizza delivery driver.
Who doesn't love a good pizza? What do you put on your pizza, Jamie?
Well, I like to try to get some health and nutrition in everything I eat.
Phil, what do you put on your pizza?
I like the Hawaiian style, you know, with pineapple.
What is with these people?
Yeah.
You like a healthy pizza. You like a pineapple pizza.
You know what Austin had
I mean,
for
pineapple and ham.
I'm done with this conversation.
You know what he had for dinner the other night? Cup-o noodles.
Well, that's because I got back to the Airstream at like 11 o'clock and I didn't feel like making food.
That's another story. You got locked out, left your keys in the Airstream, and had to use your teammate to crawl up and save you.
I did. That was, yeah, let's get back to the race.
Harrison Burton, teammate of the
Harrison's teammate of the year already.
Okay. Hopefully we're finished with the cautions and we'll let these ladies and gentlemen race it out. Jason White, Canadian driver, leads the field in the 44. LeVar Scott, his first start here with Rev Racing.
Comes from a family of racers. His his mother actually has an NHRA license to drag race. His grandfather raced and his brother raced.
Incredible.
Total racing family.
And he'll go for the championship in the ARCA East Series. Greg Van Alst owns a fence company up in Anderson, Indiana. Put my fence in my backyard. Does a great job there. But I think he really only does it to make money for this, to go racing.
But did you give him a tip then?
Maybe.
Yes. Can I make you a sponsor?
Well, yeah, I should sponsor him.
Inadvertently.
Yeah.
Jesse Love, 2-time ARCA West champion. Going to be full-time, the favorite probably for the championship here in the ARCA Menards Series this year. There's Jesse right there, the Menards Richmond on board. And Connor Mosack has made his way back up into contention after a spin in that 18 car.
And look at this. Amber Balkin. We just saw her involved. Her car was so unstable.
Still
had some
top 5.
contact, and she's already come back up to the top 5. Shows the strength of that 15. And speaking of good cars, Venturini Motorsports, that's who Amber drives for. That's who Jesse Love drives for. They're going for 6 straight here at Daytona.
Yeah, that's been an amazing record. And they're not out of contention here because obviously Jesse Love has a fast car, even though he has a little bit of damage. But Amber's hung in there, running up in the top 5. What a great day it would be for her to get a top 5 finish.
Amber's just running a couple of races with the team. She's running Talladega as well, but she wants some more sponsorship. She wants to run them all, and she's a businesswoman. She goes out and she brings in the sponsors herself. So she put herself in this ride, got this opportunity, and she's trying to make the most of it. So great showing for her so far.
Still got a chance to win being in the top 5. And if you're Jason White and LeVar Scott, you're trying to think to yourself, how do I win this race? And if you're everybody else, you're trying to think of how do I get to where Jason White and LeVar Scott are? Because everyone's going to be having a run at some point, and it's when you take it, what's the right move? And sometimes the right move is to push your way through. And Jesse Love, obviously, with a lot of damage on the front of his car, he's probably going to want to choose option B, I think.
How about Connor Mosack in the 18? He's got fresher tires than everybody else. Does that make any difference here?
Maybe a little bit, but they're probably less than 10 laps fresher because of all the caution laps we've had and at the halftime break as well. So I think, Austin, you better tighten your belts here. We're gonna have 4 to go. We're gonna have 3 to go when we restart.
Connor Mosak has led the most laps today, 25, went for a bit of a ride, but now he finds himself back up in contention. His day certainly not over.
Or you don't want to make a mistake on this restart.
Lined up nicely, green flag in the air once again.
Good energy from all 3 rows in the front. It'll be hard to pick a favorite coming out of turn 2. Still dead even, delivering a lot of pushes.
Greg Van Alst has been a heck of a pusher today in that 35. On the bumper of the 44 right now. Jesse Love trying to close the gap on the outside with LeVar Scott.
Jesse's a little bit crippled by that damage to the left front.
Here comes the rest of the pack. Outside.
Jack Wood is going to make it 3 wide. He is. Jack's going to jump to the outside in the 6 car.
I think that was a really good time to do it.
Look at Christian Rose.
Coming to help Jack Wood.
Jack Wood started in the back, fought his way back. He's had some contact, hasn't given up. He's a Rev Racing car as well.
We got 2 laps to go here. Still even Steven.
2 laps to go here at Daytona.
Let's keep these cars straight.
Still 3 wide here. It's going to take a lot of help away from the top lane. See, Jesse Love's having a tough time getting to the back of LeVar Scott.
Jack Wood jumped in behind Amber Balkin.
Big push from the 35 car.
Van Alst pushing the 44.
If you're the 35 car, you're trying to get yourself clear to where you can take the run. Not going to have enough great side draft from LeVar Scott to keep the lanes even. I think he did that all by himself, keeping that outside in the game.
Jack Wood drops in on that top line. White flag about to be displayed.
Once we get the white flag, the next flag will end this race. There goes Jesse Love making it 3 wide.
Jesse Love 3 wide into turn 1.
Jason White.
Jason White continues to lead. Greg Van Alst is there. Connor Mosak.
You're trying to get the run off the nose of the 18, and if you're Jason White, you're just ready to block it because you know the runs are going to be coming. Right now the bottom's already not very organized and have to generate another run. Your only other opportunity is going to be coming off of turn 4.
It's all Jason White right now, but here comes Greg Van Alst. Ducks out, gets alongside. They're nose to nose. Greg Van Alst to the lead. Connor Mosak comes with him. Out of turn 4, they're wrecking behind him. He does it. Greg Van Alst wins it at Daytona.
It's a great job. Great way to time out the run, be able to be there. He was up front the entire race, had a fast car. Congrats.
He doesn't even want to back off yet.
He's still on the gas.
He's still on the gas. Are you sure? Are you sure we won this race?
Oh, Greg Van Alst. I met his wife earlier. He has 4 kids. 2 are here.
Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, my God. Holy.
This is a man who started racing at ARCA back in 2001, 2002, ran out of money, realized he needed to get a real job, went back to Indiana, built his career, built his business, and now here he is, and he is a full-time driver going for the championship, and he just won it at Daytona.
I think we were right, Phil. That move of the race was for the win.
Yes, for Greg Van Alst. Yes.
You guys,
great job.
So happy for somebody like that.
I can't wait to see this interview.
Yeah.
He's going to be so excited.
You know, you could tell he was in tears.
Let's see how it was done.
Sojourner Tire on board.
Getting that push from the 18 car.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Jason just missed the block there. You see, faded one to get up to cover it, and the 18. He was so lucky the 18 went with him. He could have chose either lane. 18 probably his best chance to win the race was following the 35 through, and yeah, it's perfectly timed moment and was able to hold off.
You heard the spotter tell him the 18's going with you, so he knew he had help. But he did an outstanding job this entire race. He was
100%.
a great pusher. Obviously, he had a fast car himself.
He didn't make any mistakes most of the race. I mean, it's pretty flawless effort. So
CB Fabrications has helped him get to this point. But you mentioned he ran a black car at the test and said, hey, we need help. And he brought on 20 different sponsors. and it paid off. I mean, this guy's been working the garage, making plans, getting friends to run with. He's been good down here, but this is the best car that we've seen him have.
I'll tell you, you know, his crew chief is Jim Long. Jim Long, a long history in NASCAR, winner in NASCAR. It's hard to talk about how important somebody like Jim Long is for Greg Van Alst as well.
I hope he can cover all 20 sponsors in one interview.
It's going to be hard. That's going to be
so good.
See that vein popping out of his head?
Guys like me are supposed to do that.
That's awesome.
Let's get it down to
He wants that
Jamie.
flag.
Take it in, Jamie.
As Greg Van Alst climbed out of that car, he said, guys like me are not supposed to be able to do this. He collects the checkered flag. I'm not sure you can put it into words, but the emotion that you're feeling right now, how much heart went into this win?
Oh, it's everything I got. It's the only Speedway car we got. There's no way I was going to bring it home without the steering wheel of the trophy, and that was it. This is for all the short track racers out there that don't think you can get to this level. I've worked my ass off to get here, and we did it! Yeah!
Oh my, I have tears in my eyes. It doesn't get better than that. What a moment. Here right now is the pass for the lead.
great time lead. Had a little bit of help from Connor Mosack.
And here, if you're Greg, you're just hoping to finish this thing out. You know you made the right move. You got the right run. You stayed up front the whole race. 18 doesn't have a run. You're finishing it off. It's so special.
Greg Van Alst had to get around Jason White. Jason White ended up slipping back and finishing 9th. This was what was ensuing behind them.
Yeah, that's John Garrett in the 66.
And the finish.
Talking about Daytona and the dream of racing and dreams being made and realized at this place, that interview is everything. That interview is everything about the ARCA Menards series and why it's special to NASCAR racing in this sport and especially
people
this
like
weekend.
us. I mean, you want to race in the ARCA Menards series. I want to race in the ARCA Menards series, and it was so important.
And you see the shot of his crew. It's not like Cup where those are paid crew members. Those are volunteers, his buddies, the guys who work on his short track car up in Indiana. Such a special moment.
Think they're going to have fun tonight?
I think they're going to have a little bit of fun. Kids, your parents aren't coming home tonight. Plenty more action to come. We thank you for watching us. Congratulations to Greg Van Alst. It's a doubleheader, though. Xfinity Series action coming up. Let's go now to NASCAR Race Day.